And welcome back to RBTV's Game of the Week. I am Liam Cohen alongside Aiden Sheff. Aiden, it's your first time in the booth. How you feeling today?
It is. I'm feeling ecstatic. The energy is at an all-time high right now at Bulldogs Stadium. It's going to be a fantastic game here, playing a very high competitor in Glenbard South. Hopefully we see some pristine football out here tonight.
Yeah, for sure. The Dogs look to get their third win on the year in pink out style. It's senior night. Senior night for almost every sport that takes place during this football season. If you're counting marching band as a sport, they're in this too. We're going to take a quick break for you. We got the national anthem.
Chef's choice.
And after a beautiful playing of the national anthem, we're going to pick up kind of where we left off in our pregame show. We're going to bring up Aiden Sheff with a new little segment called Chef's Choice. What's on the recipe today?
Let's do it. I love the lead in there. What's on my recipe? So let's start with the entree, shall we? Max Strong and Caleb McCautry on the defensive side of the ball. They need to lead the way in containing Glenbard South's run game and just be the leaders that they are for RB's defense, right? We've seen what they can do in the past, however many games they are into the season, and have them firing on all cylinders. It's going to take both sides of the ball to steal this game from Glenbard, but the defense will have to make some big-time plays to make this a good one. Alongside the two seniors, junior defensive back Warren Mason will need to make those big-time plays like the interceptions. We know he's a ball hawk to disrupt the passing game and shut things down in the middle of the field. And now while Mason is a stud on the defensive side, let's shift to the offensive side as well. He is also one of RB's more talented receivers. He's a big body guy, and RB will have to find ways to scheme him open and implement him into this offensive scheme tonight. He only has one touchdown on the year, got one called back a few games ago, so I expect him to get a few good looks with the ball going his way tonight. Along the offensive line now, let's move to Carter Shelby. He's going to need to hold it down against Glenbard's pass rush tonight. The offense won't get going without a clean pocket for Giancarlo Garcia, the quarterback, and Shelby will need to lead the line to a stellar performance. So let's just give us a quick stat rundown with my choices here tonight. Max Strong this season, he has 36 total tackles, 18 solo, half a sack. He's averaging 7 tackles a game so far this season. Now we move to McCautry here, 16 total tackles, 7 solo, and 3 sacks, so he can get to the quarterback at a pretty decent rate. Now Warren Mason on the defensive side of the ball, he has 27 total tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 3 interceptions, and in a sense, the defense runs through him, Liam. They rely on him to flip the field in big moments, and when he does, that is when the team is at its best. Now we move to the offense with Warren Mason. 4 receptions, 457 yards on the season with a single touchdown, hoping to make it a few more tonight if he can. It doesn't make as many booming plays on offense, but it still has the frame and speed to make things happen. I would not be surprised if Coach Tyler and the Dog staff get him more involved here tonight with the offense.
I mean, what a menu the chef gave us for today. Yeah. The Dogs elect to receive as they've got their go-to guys, Morozic to Jesus and Karras back as the kick is underway, and it's far. And it lands in the hands of Karras. Karras electing to return. He's going to take it out right, and he's got room. Karras down the sideline, with one man to beat. It's the kicker, and he's pulled down at the 48-yard line. A beautiful way to open the game for the Bulldogs.
Couldn't picture a better start there. Karras taking it out from around the 10-yard line there. It was a very far kickoff. Karras shows his booming speed that can flip the field in an instant. And now with Garcia, he's going to have to pick things up around midfield. Like I said, you could not ask for a better start here. The offense getting the ball almost in enemy territory, if not already there. So it's now up on the offense here to get things going here.
Yeah, today we've got a little bit of a sophomore duel going between Giancarlo Garcia and sophomore Tommy Bauman from Glenbard South. So obviously the field position is really going to matter for these youngsters. And to get a guy like Karras, a new guy in the receiving game like that, to get a massive return is exactly what you need, as Garcia is ready to take the opening snap. He's going to take it, looks for Ratana out of the backfield. Ratana has a block out wide, and Ratana with room. Ratana's down the sideline. Ratana one man to beat, and he is pushed out of bounds at the 3-yard line. Jacob Ratana. Wow.
Yeah, well, the play was so good that it actually wasn't Ratana, it was DeJesus. That was Xavier on the play. 2 plays here, and starting from the 10 where they received it on the kickoff, they were already down to around the 6-yard line. You could not picture, like I said before, a better start in just 2 plays for this Bulldogs team. They are in enemy territory inside the red zone. Let's see what they can do here, Liam.
Yeah, that 6 looked a lot like a 0 to me. My bad, Xavier. You're probably going to watch that back and be a little angry with me here as Garcia takes the snap. He's going to give a pitch to Caputo out of the backfield. Caputo's looking for room, but he's got none. Met behind the line, tackled at the 10-yard line.
Yeah, well, we know that Glenbard is a very feisty team, right? They will fire on all cylinders. They are very quick off the edge here. And, Caputo is quick in himself, but that play almost seemed like it was set up for failure there. It was a pitch outside. He didn't have the block he needed, so ultimately resulted to nothing there.
Yeah, we talked about this a lot in our pregame show, is how are we going to get the run game going?
Yeah.
And it seems like they're doing so without their running backs.
Yeah.
A guy like Nico Caputo in the backfield, and a guy like Xavier Morozic DeJesus taking passes in the backfield. This is a new look for the Bulldogs, and so far it's worked out.
It is. I agree. We'll see what they do here with this new set of downs.
Yeah, we got an empty backfield for Garcia. Looking like a little miscommunication is happening. He's going to take the snap. He was not ready for that. He's going to have to run it, and he's just going to get sacked. He's tackled at the 13-yard line. Did not look like he called for that ball.
Yeah, those are the kind of plays that can kill a drive, right? You have to be careful. Communication is key. No matter you're playing football or whatever sport you're in, you got to be on the same page, right? So the center and Garcia just, weren't on the same page there, resulting in a botched snap. Lost a few yards, so back-to-back plays in the negatives there. Probably going to have to do something in the air here, right? Again, this was a talking point pregame the past few games. We really hope to see Garcia unload some things tonight through the air, through the middle of the field especially, and we'll see what they can do here. We'll see if it's a passing play or they decide to go to Ratana here, who I believe is in the backfield for hopefully what is a chunk play to get some of these yards back.
Yeah, Ratana's first snap of the game. We'll see if he gets the elected handoff, and he will not. They're going to look downfield. Garcia with no man open. He finds one this time, and it looks to be DeJesus again. Who else? Touchdown, Bulldogs.
That was beautiful. We got 2 Glenbard players seemingly down on the field after that play, but what a way to maneuver the pocket from Giancarlo Garcia. He stepped up and he didn't bail, right? That is a huge thing, a huge part of a quarterback's success on any level. He needs to be able to step up and let that thing zip, man. He's got some arm power. He showed it on display there, putting the ball ahead of Morozic DeJesus for 6. And, you couldn't have played that first drive any better. Had a few plays back-to-back there where they went in the negatives, but they picked it up and they got 6 pending 7. Let's do it.
Yeah, well, that wasn't on our recipe for the opening drive of the game. That was a beautiful drive led by Giancarlo Garcia with 2 perfect passes and a beautiful play to step up in the pocket. Like you just said, Garcia's looking comfortable, and this is what you need early game from Garcia. We've seen in the past couple of games that he's not really getting comfortable until the second half, and that's when it becomes garbage time plays. Obviously, it plays a big key to get a guy like sophomore Giancarlo Garcia comfortable.
Absolutely, and you see him on the sideline right now, pretty hyped. It's a first drive, right? That is the very first drive of the game. We just started this thing. We just kicked this thing off. So really to have that kind of drive, what was it, 4 or 5 plays, 90-something yards and end in 6 pending 7, it really gets the entire offense, but especially the quarterback, extra comfortable, right? It gets them, in a position where they're able to say to themselves, hey, next drive, I can come back and I can do this thing again. So, really just great to see as we see the extra point is blocked there.
And it's not what we wanted to see there. It looked to be a pretty good snap, pretty good hold. I just guess there was a hand on there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was just my sight from here. It looked like Bela Braddock was kicking at laces, which is never what you want to see as a kicker. But, besides from that, we got a 6-0 game for the Bulldogs as they had a near flawless drive to start off the game.
Well, we looked pregame, and me and Liam were up here in the booth. We were watching both teams warm up a bit, and who caught our eye was none other than Tommy Bowman, Glenbard South's quarterback. He wears number 10. He's 5'10", 150, listed on their website, and he is a sophomore. He's number 10, like we said. But we were watching him pregame, and he was zipping those balls. I mean, he was putting them in tight windows, and he had some juice on them. So it'll be interesting to see if they can incorporate his deep ball tonight. Right? We don't know how tight his accuracy actually is against a full-blown 11-man defense, but from what we saw pregame, I think we can expect to see a very good quarterback out here for Glenbard South.
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, I can't agree with you more. We had plenty of conversation about him in our pregame talks off air, which is not a lot of time.
No,
but he took up a lot of it.
Yeah,
it's safe to say. But besides the fact he's going to be probably the hardest quarterback we've played against this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, we haven't been to the away games. We haven't seen these away quarterbacks. But for a guy like Bauman to come in and show the skill set that he has shown, it should be a scary sight for the defense, but nothing that we couldn't be able to handle.
Yeah, right. And, as RB's commentator here tonight, I'm obviously pulling for our Dogs, but I'm very excited to see how Bowman can maneuver the pocket, as we saw Garcia did in the red zone last period. I'm just excited to see how he can play at quarterbacks. We have like a squib kick here for RB. We'll see how this plays out.
It looked to be a squib kick to the open area by John Bela Braddock. A good read of the play, as it was kind of a strange setup and kick return for Glenbard South, but maybe that's what they were hoping for, was for a kick to be found in the open area, and the open area was around the 40-yard line. And this gives Glenbard South great field position.
It does. It's an interesting choice off the kickoff, but, it does put the defense to the test. If they can get a stop here, they already have the lead. They're up 6-0, obviously not 7 because they had the extra point seemingly blocked. But if they can get a stop here, if they can force a 3-and-out or even just get them off the field relatively early without them scoring any sort of points, I think it'll be huge to carry on that momentum for this Bulldogs team in general.
Yeah, and here we get our first look at the Bulldog defense for today. Oh, wow. Fumbled snap by Bauman, not the start you want. Excuse me, as I didn't get to call out the play right away. But that's not the start you want for sophomore quarterback Tommy Bauman.
Absolutely not. We saw it similarly with last drive. Back-to-back miscommunications from both teams with the center and the quarterback. It happens, right? But you don't want it happening, especially this early. It messes up drives, and for that to be the first play for Glenbard South's offense, it can put a screw into things and eventually mess things up. And maybe it'll help the Bulldogs defense force a 3-and-out here. Let's see.
Yeah, if I had to say, it looked to be a screen pass to Vontae Clark. Was what he was looking to do, as Vontae Clark remains behind him here. We'll see what they do on their first real play of the game. And they're going to give it to Clark. Clark with a good block, and Clark with a little bit of room, but he's met by John Evans after running through about 2 or 3 Bulldogs, leaving a 3rd and about 5 or 6.
Yeah, John Evans is definitely a name that'll come up multiple times in the broadcast. He plays cornerback for us. I like to refer to him as Evans Island. Liam, you don't want to test the waters, right? We'll see when he is intended with certain passes tonight. He can be a lockdown corner at times. Obviously, as any cornerback does, he can give up some plays, but I think he is another key player for this RB defense as we move forward tonight.
Yeah, here we have little 2 guys in the backfield, something that we haven't seen yet or, seen at all. But as John Evans said himself, they're going to depend on the run game, as they do right here, as a big run from the backfield out of number 24, not listed on the roster. Sorry, you're not getting a name tonight. But he's going to get a first down there.
Yeah, so this Glenbard South run game, it didn't take much. Obviously, just looking at their roster, their running back is a physical specimen. Liam, do you want to talk about him here? Their starting running back, who is one of the biggest threats on Glenbard's team.
I mean, without a doubt, the biggest threat on their team. Vontae Clark, a 6'2", 190 running back who also plays defensive line. That is not what you see.
One of the wildest combos I think I've ever heard in consideration to high school football. What a combo, man. I'm excited to see this guy play tonight. Let's see what he can do.
As well as they're going to give him the ball here on a jet sweep type play, and he's going to get met at the line. That's number 5, Warren Mason, getting in there.
Yeah, well, when you hit him like that, it's going to be hard for him to break those tackles. Warren Mason, who we've talked about pregame, he is big on both sides of the ball for RB, makes the big hit there and forces number 35 to be held to a gain of around 3 or 4.
Yeah, as we see right here, Warren Mason just able to swoop up Vontae Clark's right leg. As, you know, this is what they really need. They need to force the deep ball or force the pass, because we haven't seen a test from Tommy Bauman yet.
Yeah.
As we see the usual formation from Glenbard South. He's going to step back to pass now. 5-yard hitch is caught. That's number 14, Sean Adderholt, and he's going to take it about for a 9-yard gain. Will they give him the first? They're going to say he's held. They're going to give him a 3rd and short.
Yeah, Bauman with a bit of an easy read there, right? He had an open man, and Adderholt in the middle of the field was, good yards. I believe they picked up a first down there, something around there. But Bauman, you saw with the quick release, he can get the ball out on time, and that's going to be a big, big key to Glenbard South's game, right? Getting the ball out in time and getting it out quick to beat the Bulldog defenders on the outside and through the middle of the field, which will allow Glenbard to open up their pass game here.
Yeah, as we just talked about, they did give him the first down. It's going to be a 1st and 10 for Glenbard South, allowing them to feed the force to be reckoned with. Vontae Clark on cue. He gets the ball. He's running through as many as he can, and he's taken down after a gain of about 6.
Yeah, well, like I said, he's a physical specimen, right? He is, what is he listed at? 6'2", 190, and as an RB defensive end hybrid, I'm going to bring a little Bears football into this. I think he reminds me a bit of Roshan Johnson, former Texas Longhorn running back. He's just big. He's got broad shoulders. He's a very big guy, and he's going to be hard to take down for any Bulldog defender that steps in his way tonight.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, obviously, big Bears fans out of us, too. Roshan Johnson is a guy that's trying to make a name for himself, and so is Vontae Clark. Vontae Clark having a great season so far. He's led this team in rushing and led his team as a leader this whole year, and without a doubt, they're going to give it to him again. Vontae Clark with room to run towards the end zone, breaks a tackle, and a touchdown for the Glenbard South Raiders.
Yeah, well, we just got finished talking about him. He cuts one out to the corner there, 4-6. Glenbard South. It's, early it's seeming like we might have a bit of a high-scoring game, maybe a shootout here. It's going to take, a lot of back and forth, good offense. Giancarlo Garcia, we said he might be able to be comfortable after scoring so quickly on that first offensive drive, but now he's really going to have to settle in and lead a long, maybe chew the rest of the first quarter if possible out here and lead his Bulldogs offense to hopefully a scoring drive to get back on top here.
Yeah, as Glenbard South looks to take the lead with the extra point. As we mentioned, John Bilabradix was blocked and almost blocked, but right through the uprights. Gives Glenbard South the 7-6 lead early in the first quarter.
Yeah, well, very fun game so far, right, Liam? I think, we didn't really expect it to go this way. I think especially with RB's first drive, we keep talking about it, but it was just so impressive, right? It started with the kickoff return from Jaden Karras, who is a guy we talked about pregame again, with the 48 around, 40-something yard kick return, set the Bulldogs offense up well, and they moved down the field really quick with Morozic DeJesus just letting it up. And it's, it's great to see, but they're going to have to come out again here and continue strong on the offensive side of the ball, Liam.
Yeah, I mean, it was a great first drive, and it's something that we need to see more consistency out of, as, again, Jaden Karras will get the call. Same thing with Morozic DeJesus to go back and receive these kicks. It's just something that it's a great sight for the Bulldogs, is to see guys like Karras and Morozic DeJesus step up to make Giancarlo Garcia's life easier, and we'll see how they do so on this kick return.
Absolutely.
And Glenbard South finally lining up for their kickoff. Seems to be from number 90-something. Again, you're not on the roster, so you're not getting called tonight.
Wasn't even listed on the website. We're not throwing shade. It's just the fact.
Yeah, as this ball is going to get all the way to the end zone for a touchback, leaving the Bulldogs at the 25-yard line.
Yep, I keep saying it, and I'll say it again. This is a huge drive for the Bulldogs, right? Glenbard South gains back a little bit of momentum there with the score. Now they take the lead with the converted extra point. So it's now up to Giancarlo Garcia. I talked about it pregame, and I'll say it again. I know I keep coming back to this, but he needs to settle in the pocket, make himself feel comfortable. Now, obviously, he needs to work with the offensive line on that. We talked about Carter Shelby pregame. He's going to lead the way for them. He needs to create a comfortable pocket for Garcia, allowing him to rip it to his receivers who are fast, right? Morozic de Jesus, Caputo, the sophomore, and Warren Mason even on some snaps. Obviously, he's limited to an extent with him playing both sides, but we'll see what they can do here, hopefully opening up the pass game.
Yeah, another look to be a pass on the open backfield. They're going to give it to Karras on the jet sweep, and he's going to be met right at the line just for a gain of about 1.
Yeah, well, we know this RB offense. We see it almost every drive. They love utilizing those jet sweeps and end arounds. They like mixing things up before, pre-snap, right? And they like the behind the line of scrimmage, whether it's a screen pass or the jet sweep or, the end around. They really like utilizing those behind the line of scrimmage handoffs and things of that nature. So it's very interesting to see how the RB offense uses its weapons here early.
Yes, they're going to bring Karras into the backfield now. Look for a fake screen his way, and the screen goes to Morozic de Jesus. And he's going to have a block. Hit to Jesus down the sideline. One guy to beat, and he's going to be met at the opponent's 40-yard line. Into enemy territory goes Morozic de Jesus, and a big first down for the Bulldogs.
He might already be up to north of 100 yards here tonight. And, folks, we are just under 5 minutes left in the first quarter. What a game from Morozic de Jesus. We might even be able to crown him player of the game already tonight. And we're not even done with the first quarter. Here you see, again, Morozic de Jesus takes a beautiful cut to the outside. He could have kept his running lane inside, but instead he cuts back for an extra gain of around 30 yards. Just beautiful play all around.
Yeah, it's great. Giancarlo Garcia is getting his passing stats up, which is what we need to see.
Absolutely.
Expect another man in motion, and here it is. Morozic de Jesus this time. They're going to give it to him. He drops it. Miscommunication. He's going to hop back onto it. Almost a tragic play.
Yeah.
But kind of what we saw on the exact last drive. A big play by Morozic de Jesus, and then a negative play from the Bulldogs.
Yeah, it almost seems like the Bulldogs offense, after, a big dynamite kind of play, they can get a bit antsy and almost feel, too jazzed up, and they can't contain themselves for a quick second, right? That's already the second fumble of the game so far. So, those are the simple things that they need to clean up because they just lost 3-4 yards on that unnecessarily. We'll see what they can do here.
Yeah, we'll see if no man in motion this time. Garcia's looking out wide to Morozic de Jesus, and it's caught. They're going to get their yards back and maybe gain 1 more. Give them a gain of 7 to bring up 3rd and 9.
And I love that play for one specific reason, Liam. I think those easy reads are going to be the main reason why, if tonight Giancarlo Garcia finds his step behind the pocket, they need to give him some easy reads where he has an open man out in the corner or the middle or the middle of the field, where he can just gain an easy 8-9 yards. Hopefully we'll see it again here at some point on this drive.
Yeah, and here comes Karras in motion. They're going to fake the give to him. Garcia's going to look out wide. He's got Rivera open downfield, looking for him. Just a little overthrown. Near wide open Rivera would have been a massive play, but instead it's an incomplete pass, leaving a 4th and 9 for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, that's a big miss there by Garcia. We saw him up there in the booth. I know I just pointed my finger out there. Obviously it's a lot harder down on the field, but look, I think that's one of the balls that Garcia is going to have to hit. Nick Rivera, again, we talked about him pregame. He is a physical specimen in himself. He is huge. He's around 6'3", 6'4". So even if he caught that ball and there was a defender behind him, it's very likely that he breaks that tackle. He's hard to take down. So if you're going to hit a guy who's open on a deep shot, you'd like to see it be Nick Rivera, and it's just unfortunate that Garcia just missed him over the top there.
Yeah, there seemed to be a penalty flag on the field, but it was against the Bulldogs. Seemed to be an illegal man downfield. So I guess whether they got the big play or not, it wouldn't have mattered, as they're going to bring out the punt team, but Glenbard South is not going to elect to send a receiver.
Interesting.
Or a returner, excuse me. Here comes John Bieler-Bradek. We'll see if he can throw in a Torrey Taylor kind of punt, and he's going to roll out, put one down there.
Pin it, come on.
And looking to pin it is the Bulldogs, and a beautiful punt from Bieler-Bradek. And it's going to sit at the 4.
That was spectacular. Everything you wanted and more from John Bieler-Bradek. Obviously, he is a very, very athletic talent. He plays volleyball with us ourselves, right? So we are very familiar with how he works with his body and how he's able to put the ball down here. As we see at the 3-yard line, it's just a great play, right? And those are the kind of plays often, offense and defense are going to get, all of the talk, but special teams is also very important. You can't forget that in the game of football, and Bilo Bradick shows it there. He pins this Glenbard South defense, who relies on its running game, at the 3-yard line. So if they can contain Vontae Clark here, if he's out on the field,
yes, he is.
Force some short runs, forcing a 3 and out. This is going to be huge and likely give the Bulldogs better offensive field position.
Yeah, and as we see here, it looks to be more of a run defense show from the Bulldogs, as they're going to hand the ball off without a doubt to Vontae Clark. He's going to get outside for a gain of around 7 to 8, setting up a short second down.
Yeah, they're going to feed him very, very consistently tonight. I would not be surprised at all if he had around over 15 to 20 carries by the end of this game, right? When you have a guy like this, you can't just not use him and just leave him out on the field without the ball in his hands for so long, right? He's obviously the leader of this Glenbard South offense, and they're just going to keep feeding him the ball, especially if it works, which it has to an extent tonight.
Yeah, and as you see it, when you look at their O-line, they add their tight end in there, or excuse me, bigger receiver, Sean Adderholt, to be a blocker for Clark, and it just proves to work. But the Dogs actually hold Clark there for only a gain of about 2. Obviously, positive yards are positive yards, but that seems to be one of the shorter plays for Clark.
Yeah, defensive line did a great job there, holding up with the offensive line, trying to get some push for Clark. But they resisted, and they were able to contain him, which will now lead to a 3rd and short here for the Raiders.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, my guess is a run with Vontae Clark, as he has done nothing but pick up positive yards so far this game. And only with a 3rd and short of maybe a yard, we'll see what they elect to do. It looks like they're going to show another run, moving Adderholt over to the right side. They're going to give it to Clark, no doubt. Clark's going to get the first down, but barely. But it's just enough. First down, Glenbard South.
Yeah, well, what comes with the Glenbard South team using him so much, he's going to get tired quick, right? We're not even done with the first quarter here. Obviously, it's 6-7 Raiders. But, the more and more carries he gets tonight, the more worn down he will be. So at some point, we'll see how soon it is. He's going to have to be subbed out, and he will get less carries. So as he gets schemed out due to his, stamina, it'll be interesting to see how the Raiders use their quarterback, who we've talked about early, Tommy Bowman, through the air tonight. We'll see. Yeah,
it seems to be that they're showing another running back in the backfield. Number 24, again, we don't have a name for you, but they're going to add Vontae Clark in there as an extra blocker, but they're not going to give it to him. They're going to look downfield. They've got a man kind of open. They're going to throw the flag, pass interference on John Evans, and that was number 3, Johnny Baldoff, that had distance on Evans.
Yeah, well, I think we saw it up here. It was very contacty by both players, both Evans and the receiver there. Bowman led him nicely downfield, but I think, Evans just gave him a little bit too much tug, which allowed the ball. Yeah. So pass interference on Evans there. It's unfortunate. It's going to move the ball downfield via penalty for the Raiders, which gives them another first down. It's by the spot of the foul. So interestingly enough, and unfortunately enough, the Raiders will keep it moving here on this offensive drive.
Yeah, I also believe that it was at the spot of the foul, but I do think in high school football, it might be just a 15-yard penalty.
Gotcha.
I don't know. That's just my guess.
Yeah.
As it seems.
Safe to assume, right?
Yeah, I mean, the flag was a lot farther up.
Yeah.
But, back to football here. We got Vontae Clark back in the backfield, per usual. He's going to switch sides. They're looking to throw out of him from the backfield, and he's going to get met at the line.
That's a great play.
That's number 2, Oscar Aguirre.
Yeah, Oscar Aguirre is a taller defensive back. He's skinnier, but when he gets onto where the ball is, he can make a fierce tackle. And you see it there. It's Exhibit A. It's a very hard player to take down in Vontae Clark, but he does so excellently there, which allows Glenbard South's star running back to be contained for a short gain.
Yeah, and that's just what you need to see out of the DBs. We need a guy blitzing like Oscar Aguirre, someone to keep their mark. They need to pin Vontae Clark. They need to know where he is at all times, in all spots of the field, at all time of the game, as again, he's going to remain in the backfield. They're going to snap it, without a doubt, goes to Clark, and he's going to be met again by the line. What a play from, looks to be number, I can't read that from here. That looks Julian Espinoza, that's 25, senior, showing up on senior night.
Absolutely, you love to see it. I sit with him at my lunch table, so I hear about this team all the time. He's a very fun guy and seemingly an even better player, right? That's a great play on a very, like we said last play, a very hard player to take down. So a fantastic play, and that's what this Bulldogs defense needs here so much tonight.
Yeah, and alongside, you know, what comes with running such a run-heavy offense, you're going to draw so much time off the clock as they just took off about 5 minutes of this game, and they've only made it about 20-30 yards, and it's just proving to be a big time-wasting team, which is maybe how they're holding their opponents to such low amounts of points.
Absolutely. Well, that's the end of the first quarter here, and I'd like to move into a quick little segment from me about Giancarlo Garcia. Through one quarter, I think he's played well, right? You see a little bit of miscommunication through the snap on a few plays, but I think that will be cleaned up with time, right? You got to shake the game off a bit, and you know, with the first few drives, you'll see a bit of, you know, simple errors made. Liam, I think you can attest to that.
Yeah.
And you know, I think it'll be a much cleaner game from Garcia throughout. And I like to see, you know, as I talked about, the play I loved was the one where he was just able to find Mrozek de Jesus, who in himself has had probably almost over 100 yards tonight. He's really shining through here in a big way. Already has a touchdown, but you know, giving Garcia those clean pockets and those quick throws that he can make for easy chunk gains will really help him, you know, just calm himself down in the pocket and create more of a poised energy for himself here tonight.
Yeah, and I bet you heard that from here. Being a poised energy is not something that the Bulldog student section
Absolutely
has.
not. You gotta love it.
They are loud. Our booth was shaking for a little bit there. If we were on our camera, you probably would have seen it. But again, I couldn't agree more with what you just said about Giancarlo Garcia. He's having one of his better starts to a game that I've seen so far, and we need him to keep it going. As Vontae Clark remains the back in the backfield and the name on the clock. As here comes Bauman rolling out wide. He's going to look for a receiver downfield. He has one. It's caught, but it does not look like he gets a foot down.
Yeah, they're going to call it incomplete
and they're going to call it incomplete, leaving a 4th and 10, and seems to be a Raiders punt.
Great way to start the second quarter, right? You force the you know, the Raiders offense to punt here. Should get it in decent field position, assuming that they can. It seems to be Jaden Karras trotting out for the punt return. You know, you hope he can return it back somewhere around towards midfield, but nonetheless, it's a great job by Bulldogs defense to open the second quarter here of 4 on a high note, allowing the Bulldogs offense to hopefully start a great drive here with some points on the board at the end of it.
Yeah, it looked like Johnny Baldoff seemed to have a little bit of distance on his DB, but was just led a little too far to the sideline. But, I mean, you can't really complain. I mean, Tommy Bauman did all he could. A throw on the run's not always easy for a youngster like Bauman. But here comes the punt.
That's a bad one.
And it's a short punt. It's not going the distance. And it's going to sit.
It's going to take a
and
Bulldog
roll
bounce.
back as number 13, you're not listed on the roster, touches it at the 48-yard line of the Bulldogs. And last time the Bulldogs started with some good field position, it ended out in a big positive 6.
It did, and speaking of 6, I would not be surprised to see number 6 be accumulated into this drive here again. I think, why not use the hot hand some more, right, Liam? I mean,
why not?
Why not, right? He's been such an electric player, and we talked about it pregame a few games ago. He was limited to just playing on special teams, and that's why I was so strongly against it. I think you see it here. Exhibit A, you know, he is just able to cut outside and make these big plays and really flip the switch for this Bulldogs offense to help them put points on the board, man.
Yeah, and, you know, maybe we'll even see our first rush attempt in this play here, but we won't. Garcia's going to step back. He's going to find a hole in the pocket, rolling out. He's got to throw it away, and he does so. Garcia avoids the big sack coming in from a big guy, number 51, Cecil Towson, who got through the line. And actually, before the game, Cecil Towson was a talking point between me and Aiden and I. We talked about how his height seemed to be something that would, you know, be an effect for him.
Yeah.
But it's really not looking like that Cecil Towson in that jersey.
No, I don't know if the website was totally accurate there with the 5'2", 155, but we wrote it down because that's what they gave us. Obviously, I think they are just a few inches and, you know, maybe just a few pounds off. But
yeah, that's not a 160 weight class right there.
No, we'll see what they do here on the snap.
And here they're going to fake the give to Karras, and Garcia's going to look for a hole. Finds a little one, but he's going to only get able to push up to about the 42-yard line. Garcia, on that last play, prior to the play we just saw, they did not give Garcia the throwaway pass. They gave him the negative yards. So it left them with a 2nd and 19, now leaving with a 3rd and 17, which we'll see what the Bulldogs do, maybe looking for a deep pass to Morozic de Jesus.
Yeah, and I meant to make a comment on that earlier, but I got caught up in the, the interesting story of Cecil Toussaint. But, I think with Garcia, you'd like to see him throw that ball away earlier, right?
Yeah.
There's really no reason to lobby that throwaway for as long as he did, and, it negates the negative yards, which we unfortunately had to deal with here on this drive. We'll see if they can bounce back here on the 3rd and long.
Yeah, and Karras seems to be the man in motion. Garcia's going to take the timeout. The play did not get off in time, as he also seemed to show a lot of confusion pre-timeout. He looked Morozic de Jesus' way, trying to wave him in on the motion, but it seemed to be that Karras was the man that was given the motion. As he moved his way in, Garcia called the timeout wisely.
Yeah, we talked about it a bit earlier. It's the simple things that the Bulldogs are going to have to contain and figure out, right? Because if they don't, it's going to be, very disappointing on many levels when you look back at it post-game, and when the guys look back at the, the film, they're going to realize that, hey, we messed up on this, and if we didn't mess up on such a simple manner, maybe this could have gone for extra yards and put us in a better position.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's just these little plays. Play-by-play is how the game goes, and it becomes costly at times.
It does.
Like we talked about the Garcia non-throwaway ball. But it will be something that we haven't seen yet is a 3rd and long.
Yeah.
Every throw we've seen so far has been quite short, but we've seen against Fenton that he's able to throw it down. But now we're going to throw it down to the sideline for an interview.
All right, can you tell me your name and what you do here at the football game? I'm Zoe, and I basically just hang out with my friends at JV. I do palms, and this game, I was the mascot for senior entrances.
She was. Now, what do you think about that? Did you like it? Would you do it again?
It was actually pretty fun. Some of the parents were Debbie Downers, and they didn't high-five me. So it was kind of sick, but whatever. There were a couple parents that were cool.
What do you think of the varsity team so far? Do you think they're going to win?
Honestly, no. I'm trying to be optimistic, but I mean, JV got blown out. So, we still have some points, but yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, Zoe. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Go have fun. Have a nice time. I'll see you. Thank you.
And what a time to come back. John Bielabradek reads the field on the rollout punt, and he's going to take a 1st down, 17-plus yard gain on the fake punt.
That was such an awesome play, and obviously got cut off a bit due to the interview, but it's all right. We come back at a perfect time. John Bielabradek, we talked about it earlier. He is a spectacular athlete, and as a punter, he puts on the burners for the 1st down. As you see here, just absolutely blazes past the 35-yard line out of bounds to give the Bulldogs a 1st down, much needed and more.
And I mean, what a dangerous play. They saw him do that last time, saw that he had no intentions of rolling out last time and going.
Yeah.
But this time he rolls out and he went. He had room to run. I would have liked to see him cut up the field, but obviously that takes a lot of ball carrier vision. As they're going to run the fake handoff to Karras. Garcia looking downfield for to Mason, but that's blocked, tipped off by number 5.
Yeah, I think that was the right idea there. He was open, right? Warren Mason, obviously we know how much of a threat he is on the offensive side of the ball as well as the defense. I think it was a little late, though. He tried to loft it over the tall defender there. Obviously was tipped up and negated the play, which, Mason seemed to have a hole around to the 20-yard line and, would have likely picked up a big game for the Bulldogs, but nonetheless, they'll have another chance here at 2nd down.
Yeah, another chance is exactly what they need. It's just like Bielabradek giving him another chance. Bielabradek got a big hug from his special teams coach on the sideline. They're ecstatic. As Garcia's going to look downfield, he's got Morozic de Jesus on a little bit of a 6-7-yard gain, making it a 3rd and short.
Again, with those quick plays, I can't help but say that I love him. I think, again, the biggest thing in this game is going to have Giancarlo Garcia, the sophomore quarterback, get comfortable, and I think, like I said before, and I'll say it again, those kinds of plays are going to help that the most. So, and they work, which is the best thing, right? Whether it's a comeback route or just a simple curl, Morozic de Jesus is the perfect guy who can create after the catch with those kind of plays.
Yeah, without a doubt, as Garcia's going to take the snap. No intention to throw. Direct snap to him. He's going to run, looking for the 1st down, gets a little bit of positive yardage. We'll see what they mark, and they're going to say they held. or do they give him the first? We'll see.
We'll take
They're
it.
going to give him the chains.
There we go, baby.
Chains are moving, and so are the Dogs. A nice play call, something I like to see there. That's really the first designed rush attempt of the game.
I agree, and you know, while Garcia has overall morally succeeded in the pass game, you have to still take into account how gifted of a rusher he is. You have to utilize that to its maximum ability, and I think that's the perfect spot on the field to do just that.
Yeah, Garcia's going to move Ratana in motion, looking to see if it's man or zone coverage, as they seem to give a signal towards to Jesus.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see some
Watch for the
design
outside
play.
receiver here.
As Garcia's going to take the snap, and he's going to look for DeJesus. He's not open. He's going to roll out right, looking for a man. He's got to throw it away. He does, but to a receiver, and it's going to be caught. That's Jacob Ratana on the sideline.
There you go. You see, a prime example of Garcia's ability to extend the play. You get yards there, and while it may be a short gain, it's a fun one, right? And you see the athletic ability of Garcia to get out of the pocket, use his legs, which can help him upfield as well as side to side along, the line of scrimmage. He's able to flick the ball out there to Ratana for a positive gain.
Yeah, as Ratana remains in the field, he's going to move out to Garcia's right. Garcia's going to take the snap. Look for DeJesus again. He's going to throw it to him this time. A little bit of hold in the play. And there's going to be a holding flag thrown. This looks to move the chains for the Bulldogs.
We'll see what they call it, but that absolutely looked like a pass interference on the defense there on the far side of the field on, I believe, Morozic DeJesus.
Yeah, they're gonna give the Bulldogs a first down on the holding call on the defense. That was no doubt a hold.
Yeah, no doubt. And, I think you saw, as we said, pre-snap, you got to watch out for him on those kind of plays. He's the lone receiver at the top of the field towards the 20-yard line. It's, a fun one-on-one matchup, right? Because we know DeJesus is so speedy, and he's able to, how he had that 60-yard touchdown reception on a go route, right? So he is a vertical threat for this Bulldogs offense that they have to use.
Yeah, and we'll see if they utilize him here again, as Garcia is going to take the snap, give it to Ratana for his first rush attempt of the game. He's going to find a hole, but not much after. Give him a gain of about 4.
Well, it's good to see Ratana being used. We talked about him pregame, especially how he was kind of limited to his carries, and he had, I believe, 15 rushing attempts for around 30 yards or something like that a few games ago. You're just not getting the results you want to see on the field for Ratana these past few games, really this entire season. So getting him inside the offense and getting him going is going to be a huge part to their success today.
Yeah, and in the red zone, almost in the 10-yard line, Garcia's going to look to throw just a little low, but kind of a safe low pass there as it looked to be undercut by number 2, who, again, does not have a number.
Yeah, didn't put it in harm's way there, which I like. It's unfortunate that he missed it. It was a little low. Seemed like the ball hit the ground before it was able to be scooped up by Karras there, number 22. But nonetheless, you can't be mad, right? In the red zone, you want to be safe with the ball because Bilo Bradick can end this drive in 3. We'll see what they do here.
Yeah, leaving a 3rd and 5. There is the chance of the first down for the Bulldogs with the field position that they have. They're going to roll out right, designed run for Garcia, looking to get the edge on the outside, and he does not. He is met a little after the line, holding him to a 4th and 4.
Yeah, those design runs, while I like them so much because of the kind of runner Garcia is, you're going to need an extra blocker or two on the right side of that field. Garcia made his cut, and after that, it was nothing. He ran into a brick wall of Raiders defenders, which unfortunately gave him nothing there on the rush.
Yeah, John Miller Bradick looking to end the drive the way that he brought it back to life by drilling this field goal and giving the Bulldogs a 2-point lead. And we'll see how it goes this time. The snap is good, the hold is good, and the kick is perfect. Bulldogs take the lead, 9-7.
We'll take it. All things considered, I think that was a very sharp drive. Again, we saw one of those quick throws from Garcia to DeJesus. That connection continues to shine tonight. I'm very excited to see DeJesus' end stat line by the end of this one tonight. As we see, the student section is roaring. Both the band and the student section are here on their feet, along with the cheer squad. It's just great, man. We're entering the fall season, we're entering the fall weather. It's a bit chilly up here in the booth. I don't know about you, but I'm getting a bit cold. But it's great to see everybody here on senior night. Just the vibes are great, and hopefully the Bulldogs can maintain this lead and end with a win here today.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like you said, it is a little bit chilly in the booth. It's a little chilly outside, but it's been a great game so far. Besides the fact that Aiden and I are a little cold up in the booth. It's been a great game. Garcia's been able to maintain the offense. He's been able to show the true potential from the Bulldogs. And so far, we've got the lead.
Absolutely. You can't complain so far, right? Pre-game we looked at how this is a very, 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 very good Glenbard team who we could not, play down against, because otherwise it would have been a blowout, right? And we had to say that we have the lead this far into the second quarter is a bragging right in itself. So, I think the way that they're playing so far, by containing Vontae Clark to an extent, as I said earlier, he's just going to continue to get more tired. It's good to see that the Bulldogs are containing them on all fronts.
Yeah, and it looks like the kick is going to be deep and returned by number 24. There's a flag thrown on the field. 24 is going to have room to run. He has one man to beat, and it's Bila Bradek, and he's going to be met by Bila Bradek and tackled. We'll see what the flag is. We'll see if it all comes back.
Oh, no, that's not good for the Bulldogs. It seems like John Bilo Bradek is down on the field after that full body tackle on the kick returner there. That is the last thing you want to see for the Bulldogs. Obviously, you saw him make that miraculous fake punt for around 25, 30 yards that gave the Bulldogs that 3 points there, ended by him as well on that drive with the field goal. We hope he's okay up here in the booth.
And he seems to be good as he's walking it off.
He's got a significant limp. It's definitely a story to watch. And we can just, hope he's okay right now. He came up, it looked like he fell on either his left or right leg. He's pointing to his right leg. Seemingly needs to be worked out, but we'll see what the storyline holds here for him tonight after that play.
But yeah, besides the big tackle that held them from what seemed to be a touchdown, this came all the way back as the flag was on the Raiders, and it leaves them with much less or much worse field position than what they had off the kick return, leaving them at their own 20-yard line.
We'll take it, right? Football can often be a game of dirty laundry, and we've seen quite a few flags already tonight, that being one of them, and it's in the Bulldogs' favor, so we'll take it, absolutely.
Yeah, and here comes the man himself, Vontae Clark. Are we surprised he's on the field? Not at all. We'll see what play they designed for him this time.
Yeah.
And they're going to give it right to him.
Oh, absolutely.
He's going to be met at the line. Seems to be losing a yard. That's a new sight of the game.
Absolutely, and to see the Bulldogs defense, absolutely 101% energy go out there and stop such a great player in Vontae Clark. It's such an exciting sight to see, and it gives you hope that this Bulldogs defense will be able to contain him throughout the game. As I continue to say, he will only get more and more tired. So hoping to see that will continue to be the theme here tonight for the Bulldogs defense, the defensive line especially.
Yeah, something to look at is John Bila Bradek is out of this drive for right now, so that leaves Danny Loftus in the game as Bila Bradek is walking off his injury. They show a little blitz here as Eric Servin with a little fake blitz. They're going to throw on this play, and it's going to be caught. Can't see a number there, but he's brought down by Oscar Aguirre. They're going to give him the first down.
Yeah, that's a huge tackle by Aguirre there in the middle of the field to wrap that play up. But as we talked about it before, obviously Vontae Clark, a name we keep saying right on this broadcast, he's going to get his large share of the offensive touches tonight, but we cannot underestimate Bauman as a quarterback through the middle of the field. He's shown that he can be sharp with his passes, and the Bulldogs are going to have to stay on top of that if they want to win this game.
Yeah, for sure. As now they take some relief off of Vontae Clark, giving him a new set of downs. We'll see if they return the ball into his hands. They're going to have him roll out right. They're going to get his first look, a pass and a nice catch for a gain of about 6 yards. That's Sean Aderholt.
Yards on the pass play for the Raiders. That'll bring up a
yeah, I mean that's a solid play, all things considered there from the Bulldogs defense. It's good to see them contain that, but as I said before, the zip on the ball of Bauman is really impressive. He's able to get that thing out so quick, and it's just very fun to see from any high school quarterback.
Yeah, it seems that they run a nice first look offense for Bauman. It's really just been his first look is the one that he's throwing to, no matter if he's open or not.
Absolutely.
As he's going to step back to throw again. His first look's not there this time. He's going to take off, and he's going to fall down to the ground after a gain of about 3 or 4 yards. Or, 2 yards they give him.
Yeah. Pressure got to him there. He tried to step up in the pocket and eventually tucked it for a run. But it's interesting to see how he panicked a bit there, right? I don't know exactly if every single receiver downfield was absolutely locked up. But, it's very interesting to see as now it seems Bauman is coming off the field.
Yeah, it seems like
All right, we have just finished the first quarter with the score being 9-7 with the Bulldogs leading, and I am with my fellow seniors, Issa and Peter, and I was just wondering, how has the atmosphere for the stadium been?
I think the seniors and juniors have been great, but the underclassmen just aren't getting it done, and it's affecting our team, so we got to change that for the future games.
Yeah, you hear the upperclassmen? I think you got to raise your game up. I'm hearing the band outdo you guys, so I got to hear some more. But for the senior night, how did you feel about that? Did you feel good? Did you feel overwhelmed?
It was pretty overwhelming to see my friends emotional, but it was really exciting to know that they're being celebrated and everything. And it was just really nice because all my friends and I went down there to cheer them on, and it was just a lot. It was a lot of fun.
Yes, we love cheering our team on. We love to see the Bulldogs win, and we can't wait for them to take this win out this season.
Thank you, Alyssa. We thank you, Alyssa, for the beautiful interview there, as what you missed was a false start on the offense, giving time for Tommy Bauman to come back in after leaving the game with what seemed to be a back injury, but leaves them with a 3rd and 7. We'll see if they choose to throw, and they do. He's going to look out for his number one receiver, a new receiver in the game. That's number 7. That's Isaiah Gray Jr.
Yeah, Isaiah Gray Jr., who is a junior in himself, with a very nice play over the middle of the field here. They didn't have his height listed or weight on the website, but it seems to be that he's a shorter, shiftier wide receiver who can get open in the middle of the field. So, yeah, that's a great example of his style of play there, and it keeps the chains moving for Glenbard South.
Yeah, Gray makes his way to the sideline after picking up the big first down for the Raiders, as they show a new pack line to the side, and no doubt they're going to give it to Vontae Clark off of this, but they're going to get met behind the line. Vontae Clark is met by number 10, John Evans, and who else is in there?
Seems like a just giant swarm of Bulldogs.
I mean, it looked like it. Looked like they got hound. And it seems to be Max Strong was also a big name in there.
Max Strong was a name that I underlined pregame, and they read that play front to back. Just a stellar play from the Bulldogs defense. They were all over that run. They knew off the motion that their running back, number 35, Vontae Clark, was going to the outside there on a pitch, and they wanted no part of it. So great to see the Bulldogs continue to stop him behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, Vontae Clark makes his way off the field for their backup running back. Number 24 hops back in. He's more of a shiftier running back, more of an elusive back. We don't know his name, sadly. So they're going to give him the ball. He's going to make a quick move. He's going to get a block, and he's going to get another one. As he's going to pick up about 8, but he fumbles the ball. Do the Bulldogs have it? Or does it fall out of bounds, in which it looks like it fell out of bounds?
Yeah, based off the demeanor of the Bulldogs players, it seems as if the Bulldogs did not recover that fumble, but there is a player down on Glenbard South. We cannot see the number.
It is number 24, the man who just came in to relieve Vontae Clark of his duties.
Do not have his name, but we hope he's okay.
Yeah, it looks to be something with the right or left foot, as it was a needed official timeout for it.
Could
and
be
again,
a potential cramp. You never
yeah,
know.
it could be. You know, it happens in football. Again, something I want to talk about. It's been 5 minutes on this drive, and it seems that they've gone near 40 yards. This is something that we are going to – it's going to be a talking point throughout the whole game between you and I.
Yeah.
It's this run game. It's killing this clock.
It is. And, you know, while they may not be moving the chains downfield in these big chunk plays as much as they could be, it's still, to your point, taking – you know, multiple seconds off the clock, which in a way hurts the Bulldogs, right? Giancarlo Garcia, while sometimes their offense can be one of tempo, it does take some time to get things going for their offensive side of the ball. So it should be interesting to see how they can combat that as the players take knees for the injured player who was helped off the field.
Yeah, he's helped off the field. He walks with a little bit of help on his sides. I'm guessing it's some sort of left knee injury or left ankle injury. He seemed to be in quite the pain trying to walk off the field. But the Bulldogs, besides the fact of an injury, have a big play here as Tommy Bauman shows a pretty big scream towards Vontae Clark as he's heading out of the field.
Yeah.
Kind of giving away that this ball is going to head to Clark. And I am correct. They're going to give it to Clark, and he's going to get through the line, and he's going to get pounded by Oscar Aguirre, but that's after he picks up the first down.
Well, to his credit, Oscar Aguirre's name has showed up a few times tonight, right, on some pretty big tackles while they have been for positive gains for Glenbard South. He's all over the ball, and that's nice to see from Bulldogs defensive back.
Yeah, I mean, to be able to get your safety up in there to make the plays on the running back, it's something that will be needed.
Certainly.
Vontae Clark is a force to be reckoned with, and it seems like he's going to be the guy for, I mean, nevertheless, the rest of this half, and maybe even the rest of the game, depending on the severity of the injury for their backup back. As a snap to Bauman, he's going to step back to throw. He's going to look for a deep ball. He's got a man.
Ooh.
And it's off the hands. They're going to throw the PI flag again. I'm not sure I agree with that.
Well, it was, to say the least, a very, very late flag, I'd say. You know, it's controversial. It was a controversial play. I do think there was some grabbing, like the last PI call from both sides. So it could have gone both ways, excuse me, but unfortunate nonetheless, as while it's not spot of the foul, it will move Glenbard South into the Bulldogs' red zone.
Yeah, as we get a look here at the Bulldog, you know, student section. They seemed a little excited, but I'm not sure those girls knew what was happening in the game. But nevertheless, Johnny Baldoff was the one that drew with his second PI flag of the game. He seems to be a speedy receiver for the Bulldogs, something that they, you know, they've had trouble with so far.
Yeah, absolutely.
As they're going to take the under center snap, and they're going to give it to Clark on the handoff. Clark with room, and Clark makes his way to the end zone. Vontae Clark, his second touchdown of the game.
Yeah, it was a very, very quick handoff. Gave little time for the Bulldogs defensive line and really entire defense to react. It was a very quick play, but it helped the Rebels, who obviously knew what they were doing there, or excuse me, the Raiders, who obviously knew what they were doing there, you know, for Clark to get off that snap really quick and, you know, burst into the second gear for that touchdown. He was off to the races after that point.
Yeah, that was the first under center snap that we saw from Tommy Bauman, and I wouldn't doubt if we saw a couple more from it. And, you know, it could be a sight that will be seen more in the red zone,
yeah,
you could say.
Absolutely.
As they line up for their extra point. And it's blocked.
Oh, my goodness.
What a play by number 5. That's Warren Mason, Mr. Do-It-All.
Unreal, man. Yeah, I mean, you know, whether it's on offense, defense, or special teams, the name Warren Mason just continues to show up. I mean, that was a textbook block there on special teams off the edge for that extra point. And while they're still down, that was huge. Now it's just a 4-point game instead of the potential 5. So awesome play there by Warren Mason here. We got really excited up in the booth. Yeah, the score here is messed up on the stat bug, which we apologize for, but that was really an awesome play by Mason.
Yeah, and the score is just fixed. You know, they did not get to 15. They actually didn't get any extra points for Mason blocking the kick.
Yeah.
But, you know, nevertheless, beautiful play by Mason. We talked about it on the last field goal a little bit. Really briefly, though, he almost got through the line on the first one and almost got his hands on that. It was just about time until he was going to get his hands on a block kick.
Yeah, his willingness to go out there and, you know, like I said with the Bulldogs defense earlier, just 101% energy. It's so fun to see those high motor guys. Warren Mason is the prime example of that, who are willing to do anything and put their body on the line for the team. I mean, that was just an awesome block. I can't get over how cool that was. I mean, he couldn't have been any better and holds the Raiders to 6 instead of 7.
Yeah, we'll see here how the Raiders approach this kick now. I wouldn't doubt a kick towards Morozic to Jesus, as the last time they tested Karras, they paid for it, bringing it up to their 48-yard line. We'll see the decision being made.
As we hear the Bulldogs crowd is roaring down there.
And they're going to pelt one towards Karras this time.
We'll see how this goes.
He's going to receive it, and he's got blockers ahead of him. Will he use them? He's going to spin out of one of them, break the tackle, and he is met after breaking not one but 2 tackles. A little bit of a 10-yard return from Karras.
Yeah, couldn't do much there. Can't really blame him on that. You know, it's tough to, you know, make a gain on a kickoff return. It is very difficult with all these guys flying downfield. Full head of steam. So Karras, as fast as he is, it's tough to, you know, get past the 20 on a play like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's so difficult to get a big return off of there that the NFL even changes rules to allow their returners to obviously be safer returning the kicks and, you know, allow them to return it and show their true skill more often.
Absolutely. It'll be interesting to see how that plays out as the NFL season continues.
Something interesting to see how it plays out is Damian Renteria is now in the game. We talked about pregame. The last snaps that we saw from him was against Ridgewood, where he had a costly fumble. He's moved to show or to give Giancarlo a look of the defense, and this time they're going to give it to Morozic to Jesus. He's going to try to cut in, and nothing to no avail. He is met by number 54. That's Saif Kokaska.
What a name that is. That one rolls off the tongue really well, but you know, it's a bit unfortunate. These last few Bulldogs drives, they haven't really been able to get much going. Obviously, we had the field goal just a few drives ago, but you'd like to see them push it downfield more, right? The Glenbard South defense has really stepped it up in the past few drives, limiting Garcia in the middle of the field, even as a rusher, which is where he normally shines, right,
yeah.
Liam? And you know, it'll be interesting to see how Garcia himself combats that as this Glenbard defense continues to step up. Excuse me.
Yeah, we'll see what Garcia has for him called now. He's going to do his quick look to Karras, and Karras is met right after he catches it. Looked to be a little high hit, but they're not going to call anything. They're going to give him a gain of what looks to be 5 or 6.
Well, again, that's that dink and dunk offense that we talked about potentially pre-game that the Bulldogs could use, as it seems as if there's a
2-minute warning.
Yes, 2-minute warning there. So we have a bit of time to talk about how the Bulldogs have fared this second quarter. Liam, how do you feel?
You know, obviously a little bit of a downgrade from the first quarter, but I mean, they're able to get points on the board, which has been something that we've struggled with on a couple of our past second quarter games. You know, we showed against Ridgewood in our last broadcast. They really struggled to get, you know, key drives down and, you know, get points off of them.
Certainly. And, you know, it's very difficult to be even better than their first drive, right? You saw how quick they went downfield off the kickoff return and then off the big play from Rosick de Jesus. But you'd like to see more flashy plays, more of them getting the ball downfield in big chunk plays, which we hope to see after this 2-minute warning for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely think that it's one of the better first halves that we've seen out of the Bulldogs. You know, obviously in their first game against Niles West, they started off beautifully with a Warren Mason pick, but this time it's Warren Mason on the special teams side of the ball, making a big block and having a couple of tackles on the defensive side of the ball. We'll see now what the third and kind of long play is for Garcia. Garcia is going to look for Rosick de Jesus off a screen pass, looking for a block. There's a flag on the field. Rosick de Jesus has enough for the first down. We'll see if the call is on offense or defense.
Yeah, as we'll wait for the call here. It's very interesting to see how Coach Styler and the Bulldogs offense utilizes those kind of screen plays, right? I feel like they sort of think to themselves that those kind of plays are the way the Bulldogs are going to get downfield in, you know, by big yardage, right? I think it's very interesting as Rosick de Jesus, we continue to hear his name come up on this broadcast tonight. He is the kind of guy who is going to give them those big gains. Unfortunately, you know, obviously not the amount of yards they needed there, but we'll see where the flag leads them here on this drive.
You know, it seems to be a war of pointing going on right now.
It does.
I'm not sure it's going to
Unfortunately,
avail
can only
to anything.
do so much, yeah.
You know, we got both sides of the field pointing really aggressively to see who gains the yards or loses the yards.
I think the refs have to take into account this pointing match, and I think the Bulldogs have the edge here. I don't know.
I mean, now we're getting the Raiders sideline going into it, and they're going to erase the flag.
We'll take it.
The Bulldogs win the war. Wow. I didn't think that was going to do much, but it sure did. Erase the flag. First down for the Bulldogs.
This Bulldogs sideline right now is hyped. It'll take anything. They'll take anything to get this offense going. Hopefully this flag can help them and put them in motion here with this offensive drive.
Yeah, and talk about being put in motion. There goes Ratana in motion. Drop back to throw is Garcia, and it's just a little overthrown to De Jesus. You know, again, a little overthrown pass, but this time it was out of harm's way, just like that one towards the end zone to Karras.
And we'll take that, right? It's better that than, you know, an overthrow to the, you know, the far end of the field than an overthrow in the middle of the field, which gives the opponent, the opposing safety a potential interception, right? So he's staying away from those turnover-worthy plays, which is a good thing to see, but you'd like to see him connect on those out routes.
Yeah, it seems Rosick de Jesus getting his little own coaching towards the sideline. I wouldn't doubt another play towards him.
We'll see.
But it seems that they're showing a little bit of subtle double coverage towards him. We'll see what they have now. He's going to cut across the field. He's open. They're going to find him, and he's got room. Rosick de Jesus down the sideline. One man to beat, and he's met at the 20-yard line. Rosick de Jesus flips the field and gives the Bulldogs a first down in the red zone.
Just a spectacular night on all cylinders from Rosick de Jesus. We continue to hear his name, as I've said numerous times now, pop up on this broadcast. He is the dynamite to this Bulldogs offense. You see him as the main source of all these big, gigantic plays for Giancarlo Garcia and these Bulldogs offense to keep it moving, as now they are approaching the opponent's red zone. We'll see what they can do and hopefully capitalize with 6 pending 7 on this offensive drive.
Yeah, I mean, credit to the offensive coordinator there. That's a beautiful call, getting the entire field to go towards the left as Morozic DeJesus sneaks right and gains the first down and about 50 yards extra of a first down. And this is going to force a Raiders timeout.
Second timeout.
Yeah, well, I mean, a play like that, right, can flip the switch in an instant. So it seems as if the Raiders need to talk it over here for themselves.
Yeah, definitely not a play trying to get the clock stopped because Morozic DeJesus was forced out of bounds after being met after his big gain. But, I mean, clearly some miscommunication is going on between this Raiders defense as they cannot seem to stop DeJesus.
They cannot. And with this miscommunication, the Bulldogs offense, Giancarlo Garcia, and this offensive line, they're going to need to, master the simple things, as we said before, as we see the long snapper there.
Nice little view here.
Awesome action there. We'll take that. But, with the simple things, they're going to have to execute perfectly here. Hopefully they can take advantage of the Raiders defense being a little bit shaken up here, right, Liam?
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, this is something you need to take advantage of is, the miscommunication, the mishaps, and the unreadiness of the Raiders defense.
Certainly.
You see on the sideline here is Anthony Esposito joined by, I believe that's number 36, Michael Callis, getting ready to hold a field goal for John Bielbredick, which is a good sign.
Yes.
That John Bielbredick could hopefully re-enter this game. Garcia's going to drop back. He's got Morozic DeJesus open, but he's not going to look for him. He's going to roll out, and he can't take a sack here, and he doesn't. Nice play to throw it away by Garcia.
Those are the kind of plays that as a Bulldog fan, they make you a bit nervous. You don't want to take that massive loss on a sack. Luckily, he gets it out just in time to avoid that the massive loss.
Yeah. So, I mean, I said it during the play. Morozic DeJesus was open. I'm not sure if that was the designed look on the play, but he did have his eyes set on Nick Rivera, who wasn't open. We'll see what the ball placement is here.
And I will say one thing, Liam.
Wow. Are they going to call an intentional grounding?
It seems as if they are pushing the Bulldogs back a bit, so.
I'm not sure. That's a high school. Yeah, intentional grounding.
Yeah,
which
that's huge.
Questionable call, in my opinion, as he was far outside the pocket.
Yeah.
And seemed to have Morozic DeJesus within 10 yards of the ball.
Yeah, Garcia's frustrated, but one thing I will add to that last play is it's good to see Garcia's eyes downfield instead of him automatically being ready to tuck it and run. So it's a good thing, to start to see his eyes be ready to go downfield and look for a receiver in the end zone.
He's going to take the snap. He's looking for X, and he's got him. His man, Xavier Morozic DeJesus, gets a gain of around 10 as he's going to be bringing it back to a 3rd and 12.
I'll continue to gush over those plays. I mean, I really think that's what's going to keep getting this Bulldogs offense moving through the sticks. Garcia continues to find himself through the air tonight, especially on the sidelines, from sideline to sideline with these tight throws, these quick throws, which gives him, time to connect with his receivers on the ends here. So it's good to see for Garcia.
He's got 4 receivers out wide, which is a new look that was brought to us in the last play. It's a designed run. Maybe it wasn't, as Morozic DeJesus looked to be running a route there. Now, I would not doubt a timeout called here by the Raiders, in which there is one called.
For the Bulldogs.
Yeah, this is going to be a 4th and long for the Bulldogs. We have not seen Bielbredick from the distance of this far. We'll see if he gets his leg going. He looks to be making his way towards the field.
Yeah, one thing to take into account, obviously, as we saw, moments ago, was that he was injured off of the opposing kickoff return and attempt to make a tackle, which he did to his credit, but he was seemingly injured. So we'll see how that injury takes into account this kick here and how Coach Styler and the Bulldogs coaching staff handles this situation.
Yeah, if they do elect to kick, he will be kicking from the left hash, which is a little bit of a hardship as a kicker.
Yeah.
Not the biggest hardship, but definitely something that gets in your way.
It's not easy.
Needing to force your kick far right, as it looks they're going to send out the kicking unit. John Bielbredick with his holder, Jaden Karras. We'll see what John Bielbredick can turn out of this field goal.
It'll certainly be interesting. I'm excited to see.
He's going to look to angle himself, and Karras is a lifelong friend of his.
Yes. They do have chemistry.
Lots of it. They've been friends since,
the beginning of time, it seems like, right?
Yeah, I mean, they've done lots together. The hold is good. The kick is just left. Again, like we said, that left hash plays a big factor in this game. It's not easy kicking from a hash.
It's not, and it seemed like he almost had the distance. It's tough to tell from up here in the booth as we see with the replay. He might have had the distance there, maybe hits the crossbar, but I think it was a solid kick for the distance from where it was, but obviously not the result you want to see. The Bulldogs are down 4 right now, would have cut the lead to 1 for Glenbard South, but we'll see how they can retaliate here with 48 seconds left in the half.
Yeah, and Baylor Breda coming off of an injury, I feel like I'd rather see a 10-yard throw or something short from Garcia.
Certainly.
Rather than force a kick. Maybe he was, you know, not recovered fully from a kick or from the hit he took on his tackle. But, you know, rather than not, it results in a first down for the Raiders, and they will be forced to throw. No, they won't.
Whoa.
They're going to fake throw.
Oh,
and
my
wow,
goodness.
a stiff arm from Clark. Clark going to be pushed out of bounds after a gain of around 9. And a lethal stiff arm.
Yeah, that was some Terminator level stuff there from Vontae Clark. He continues to dominate in the run game, and you can't help but, you know, just realize how dominant of a runner he is right downfield. He's almost like a Derrick Henry-esque runner when, you know, he just puts a hand out with, you know, a defender in his face, and it's almost like automatic. He's just gone, and, you know, he'll continue to rush.
Yeah, nice heads-up play there by Clark to be able to get out of bounds, not use a timeout, but to stop the clock still. As, oh my goodness, a little mishap from Bauman is going to result in what seems to be a fumble. Or are they going to call the incomplete pass? It seems that the ball left his hand.
Well, we'll see what they call it here. There's still no signal.
Here's the mishap. It just falls right into the air. The Bulldogs really took their time to hop onto it. We'll see what they do here.
Refs are discussing it, talking it over.
Did he get the elbow extended? They're going to call it an incomplete pass.
I think that is the right call there. But you have to realize that maybe if one of those Bulldogs who were around the ball when it was tipped up realized that it was there, that could have been an interception and a game-changing play in itself. It's unfortunate, but, you know, obviously things don't fall your way all the time.
Yeah, and it seemed that everybody on the field there had no idea where the ball was, because everyone's looking around as they hear ball, ball, ball from the sideline, but no one sees the ball in the air.
Absolutely.
They only saw it after it hits the ground. Obviously, we are given a 3rd and 1. I wouldn't be surprised with Vontae Clark
up the gut,
run, and then a hurry-up offense play. But they do have a clock to fight in a battle, which they do give it to Clark. Clark's going to go right up the middle. He's going to be tackled by a pile of Bulldogs after the first down. Seems like there's going to be a timeout called.
7-yard gain on the run
Or there's,
for the Raiders.
yes, there will be. No, actually, excuse me. There won't be. Clock will stop after the first down.
That is high school. So it'll be interesting to see if Glenbard can at least put themselves in a position for a manageable field goal for their team here. I do think that even with Vontae Clark being as dominant as an opposing threat, as he is, it will be very tough for them to get into the red zone, I think, with just, 25, 30 seconds left of this half. So it'll be interesting to see how they manage this with the 2-minute situation.
So the clock doesn't stop. And this is going to take us right into the halftime for the Bulldogs.
All right.
You know, we were confused, as you could tell. We were.
I think everybody was. So.
We were unsure of whether the clock stops, and it seems like the Raiders were as well.
Yeah.
But they just elected to,
roll it into the half.
Roll it into the half and get the ball at halftime, which they do. And this will end our first half production from RBTV's Game of the Week. We'll see you in the second half, and you'll see a beautiful halftime performance.
All right, the score is now 9-13. We have lost the lead, unfortunately, but we are hoping to get it back up. And now I'm with my fellow dancing divas, one of them being a senior, Jaden. Jaden, how do you feel about your season coming to an end? Are you going to put all the last little bit of dancing that you have onto that football field for your last time?
I'm definitely going to give it my all tonight. For my first year being a dancing diva, it makes me really sad I never joined when I first came into high school. And so, yeah, I'm going to give it my all tonight, and, yeah.
Do you think that they were very opening to when you came on and they just let you come?
Yes, they were very opening. They let anybody join. You didn't have to try out. I found a lot of new friends, and the girls were very respectful.
That is amazing. And now I'm with one of the other dancing divas, with Daniela. And Daniela, how do you feel about you becoming a senior in about 1 to 2 years?
2 years. I'm going to become a senior in 2 years. I'm proud for my seniors to show off our dance moves that we've done and created. I'm proud of them for being a great role model. I am going to miss my seniors, especially Gabriella. She has been a great role model for me. She motivates me all the time, and yeah.
This is it from the Dancing Divas, and let's look forward to seeing their dance for the halftime. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Julian Espinoza, and I play middle linebacker. I'm coming here today to appreciate my parents, so my mom and dad. I thank you for everything they've done for me, sacrificing time and their life for me to come to my games, driving hours away. Thank you, Mom and Dad. I love you.
My name is Anthony Esposito. I play long snapper, and I'd like to thank my parents for everything they've done, sacrificing time and money just for me to, be here and do something I love. So thank you guys. I love you guys.
My name is Jack Boyle. I play cornerback. I just want to say thank you, Mom and Dad, for supporting me and encouraging me and coming to all my games. Thank you. I love you.
Thank you. My name is Carter Shelby. I play left guard, and I just want to thank my parents for all their relentless support they showed me for all over the years.
My name is Nicholas Rivera. I play tight end, and I want to say thank you so much, Mom, Dad, Grandma, Grandpa, for always being there supporting me, and just being there when I need you the most. Thank you.
My name is Bobby Zobel. I play corner, and a shout out my mom and dad. I love you.
Hi, my name is James Long. I play receiver and linebacker for RB football. I'd like to shout out both my parents, Christine and Brian Long, as well as my grandparents, Joe and Nancy Dvorak, for supporting me throughout my football career.
My name is Adam Rodriguez. I play offensive and defensive line. Thank you to my father, my mother, my grandmother, and all those who supported me, my friends, and just everybody who's been through thick and thin with me. Thank you.
Hey, my name is Myron B. I'm a defensive end, and I just want to say thank you to the coaches and players for giving me the opportunity to play football for them. I also want to thank my mom, my dad, for always being there for me, looking out for me, and just motivating my confidence.
Hi, my name is Mateo Arauz. I am a defensive back for RB. I just want to thank my parents, especially my mom and my dad, my siblings and my Uncle Hector for just being there for me, and my teammates for being there for me and supporting me playing football for my senior year.
Hi, I'm Isaac Olivares, and I'm a center. I just want to say thank you to my parents for always supporting me playing football.
My name is Max Strong. I play middle linebacker, and I would like to thank my parents for giving me the opportunity to be the best I am.
My name is Caleb McCautry. I'm a defensive end, and I just want to say thank you to all my friends and my family who showed continuous support through me for the last 4 years of my life. And I want to especially thank my mother, and especially how my mother has stepped up and how she's just helped me in so many ways, especially since my father passed away my sophomore year.
And we welcome you back to the second half of RBTV's game of the week. Excuse me there. The Dogs are down 4 to Glenbard South as John Bila-Bradek flops a kick to a man who didn't look like he seemed to be a designated receiver.
Number 81 there.
He called a fair catch and continued to run. Questionable play there, as once you call a fair catch, you can't really run after that. But he is marked around the 36, 37-yard line in their own territory. Aiden Sheff, what have you seen so far from this Bulldog defense?
Well, the Bulldog defense, I thought, stood tall for the most, of the first half. I think all things considered, they could be down a lot more right now. I think they could have given up much more bigger plays that would have been bad for us. But I think for the most part, obviously with number 35, their big power horse running back.
Yeah, Vontae Clark.
Yeah, Vontae Clark. As we said before, he's a physical specimen. I think they've done a decent job. Obviously, he has a touchdown tonight of containing him. So we'll see how he fares in the second half.
And they're going to give it to him to start the half. And he's going to get met at the line. A beautiful play. The first man in looks to be number 13, Max Strong.
Yeah, Max Strong. We talked about him pregame as well, man. He is just an awesome dude. He's a fantastic football player. We talked about his academic career, but even on the football field, he shows himself time and time again there with the TFL or stop at the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, they seem to give him no gain. So they're going to start with a second and, maybe they give him a gain of 1. 2nd and 9 here for Bauman and his Raider offense. He's going to take the snap. The pitch goes to Clark, and Clark has a hole, but Clark's going to be tackled, and he loses the ball. but it's going to fall right out of bounds.
That's the second time now where the Bulldogs have forced a fumble towards the sideline. Unfortunately, both times they have not been able to recover it.
Yeah, the Bulldogs seem to attempt another point battle, but to no avail.
To no avail.
As the ball was clearly fumbled out of bounds.
Yeah.
But now the Raiders are left with a 3rd and 8 as they, I mean, you can't expect a run to Vontae Clark here, so they're going to be forced to use their speedy receivers. Expect a ball to number 3, Baldoff. He's on the outside on John Evans, but it seems number 7
is wide open here.
Yeah, Isaiah Gray
being used as a decoy, it seems.
Oh, and the pass is batted, and it's caught.
Intercepted.
Intercepted by number 24, Luke Ferguson. Wow, what a bat from Caleb McCottry on the screen pass, and what a dive from Luke Ferguson.
These Bulldogs are hyped out of their minds right now on the sideline. An absolutely fantastic play. Way to stay on top of the ball if you're the defense. You get the bat down. We saw it last half, right, Liam, where they had a similar play where they batted the ball up, and they could not get the interception. But here, they do it in an even better spot for themselves. Now they find the ball right around the 20 inside the red zone for them in prime position to score a touchdown.
Yeah, and excuse me again. That's the second time I've given a primetime play to somebody else. That was Myron Bia up in the air with the bunnies. Getting up, swatting that ball into the air, into Luke Ferguson's hands. As I was looking at number 7 wide open downfield, Isaiah Gray. I didn't see who batted it down. I took a wild guess, and I was wrong. But never miscredit Myron Bia and the effect he has on that defensive line. As it looked to be another play that was looking to go to Vontae Clark, and the Dogs just read it.
It seemed as if they were trying to feed him off a screen there, hopefully getting some blocks downfield, but it did not work out, resulting in an interception for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, and they're going to hand it off to Ratana here. Ratana with a hole. He's going to run right through it, give him a good gain of 5 yards for Ratana.
Yeah, to go back to Ratana, we talked about him pregame as well and how he has had a slow start to his season. It's been disappointing so far, but he's had a few good, half first down, half 10-yard carries, so 5-6 yards. Some pretty good plays to keep this Bulldogs offense moving throughout the game so far.
Yeah, I mean, they've been smooth sailing so far in most of their drives besides one. A punt was forced, excuse me. Warren Mason is the man in motion for the Dogs. They're going to give it to Ratana again, hoping for a similar play. He's going to get a couple of positive yards, but not much. Give him about 2 on the gain, leaving with a 3rd and 3.
Yeah, here's where I'd like to see Giancarlo Garcia get one of those easy looks that we saw multiple times in the first half that really helped him settle in a bit. I'm interested to see if they use Morozic de Jesus, who I can't tell if he is on the field right now.
He is on the outer left side.
Yes, so I'm interested to see where he is lined up one-on-one with that cornerback there. Maybe they use him on some specific route here to get him open, scheme him open for a first down.
Karras is the man in motion. They're going to give it to Karras. Karras is looking for a block, and he gets one. He's got the outside corner. He's fighting for the end zone. He hits the pylon. Do they give him the touchdown? And they do! Jaden Karras, Bulldog touchdown. The Bulldogs take the lead, 15-13.
Pause up, Bulldog fans. That first drive was epic. Way to get it all started with the interception, right? The bat up, and the Bulldogs landed on it. They were able to capitalize, which is something that we have preached all broadcast.
Yeah.
They need to do that, and they did a spectacular job there in such a quick amount of time. Great job. It seems like all of the players we were talking about pregame who had slow starts to the season are getting involved in this game, right? Jaden Karras just got himself into the end zone, so a big play for him and a big confidence boost.
Yeah, I mean, the recipe's cooking and the keys are clicking.
What a call, kid.
As John Bielabradek nails one through the uprights to give the Dogs a 3-point lead. And as you heard on my touchdown call, Jaden Karras has some outrageous speed, making me lose my breath.
Yeah.
Got me gasping for air. And wow, what an opening series by the Bulldogs.
They started a game on a high note, right? And they started this second half on an even higher note. You couldn't ask for a better start to this second half for the Bulldogs. It's an exciting time here, and now the defense has to go out and get a stop and hopefully keep this momentum in the Bulldogs' favor.
Yeah, of course, and we talked about it. I asked you, the first thing I asked you when we came in from the second half was, what are your thoughts on the defense?
Yeah.
And all you said was positive stuff, how this game could be a lot worse, right?
Certainly.
And And it's like they're listening to us.
Yeah, it almost is. It's almost like they can hear us from up here in the booth, and everything's gone right so far for these Bulldogs in these first few minutes of the second half.
Yeah, and Myron Bia is just able to disrupt Bauman and get a hand on his ball, which sounds lowered, but
you got it.
He's able to tip it, deflect it upwards into the air, and it just allows the classic tip drill to Luke Ferguson to fall into place, and Ferguson's right where he needed to be, and he even dives out for a beautiful play.
It's a style of play that, you know, every team in high school football practices many times in you know, at the high school level and any level really, and they were there for it. So great job on the Bulldogs. I'm sure the coaching staff is happy.
Bila Brady's going to put one all the way down inside the 10-yard line, and the return will come out for a good gain of around 10, 15 yards, as it will leave the Raiders around the 25-yard line and leave Bauman a big deciding drive.
Absolutely. It's going to be interesting to see the throw to run ratio for this Raiders offense this half. I'm excited to see what Bauman can do. I do think we saw flashes of his arm the first half with some quick throws over the middle. So there definitely is some emphasis to be left put on his arm, whether it be, you know, deep throws, intermediate throws, or in the flat. I'll be interested to see how they use him and his arm this second half.
Yeah, and without a doubt, we're going to see more usage of Vontae Clark.
Yeah.
He was kind of held in that last series, that last drive, but that's not going to force him to stop using him. Oh, but this time he's met again. This time it is Caleb McCautry.
Nothing there for him. Caleb McCautry, a guy who was in Chef's Keys, or excuse me, Chef's Choice, there we go. Pre-game, you know, I'm getting the two great pre-game rituals mixed up here, but, you know, he was a guy who I emphasized early. Pre-game, I thought, you know, if he wasn't there in a big manner for this Bulldogs defense, they weren't going to be able to hold Vontae Clark, Exhibit A, right? Like, he is such a good player, and without him, his presence, and his high motor, you know, this would be a much different score and a much different outcome right now for the Bulldogs in this third quarter, I think.
Yeah, it seems like the Raiders are looking for a little bit of a mix-up in the backfield. They're going to give their backup some snaps. They're going to throw a screen pass out wide. That's number 3, Baudleff, and he's going to be met after a little bit of a push of about 4 or 5 yards by Oscar Aguirre.
There he is again, Oscar Aguirre, number 2. Having a really good game, all things considered so far. He's there on almost every play. You hear his name pop up pretty consistently now through these first 3 quarters. So it's good to hear him having a pretty solid game, all things considered so far.
Yeah, I'll give credit when credit is due. That's also Warren Mason on the stop there. He had the initial hands on there, and then Oscar Aguirre able to pull, Baudleff straight to the ground. As here is a important third down for the Raiders.
See the sideline pumping up these Bulldogs fans and families.
As he's going to step back to throw, steps back a long ways, and he's going to find his receiver. That's 14, Sean Adderholt, but he's not going to go nowhere. As he's pulled for seems to be a loss of yards, and out comes the punt team.
Exactly what this Bulldogs defense needed to do. They got the interception a drive ago. The Bulldogs offense was able to capitalize. Giancarlo Garcia and the Bulldogs offense got in the end zone, and now the defense gives them another favor here, forcing a punt here. We'll see where it goes to with Jaden Karras, the man who just scored that offensive touchdown a drive ago, here to receive the punt. We'll see what he does with it, if he gives a fair catch or if he's able to return it for any yards for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, Jaden Karras is a special teams game, you could say, as he has done about everything that you needed him to do. And another bluffed punt here, and he's just going to run away from it. Jaden Karras is already at the sideline, as Glenbard's trying to do what they can to get this ball to go any farther.
Yeah, not the greatest of showings from this Glenbard South special teams tonight. I wouldn't say that their punts have been impressive by any means, but nonetheless, we'll see what the Bulldogs offense can do here.
You know, something worth noting is the absence of Cam Williams from the Raiders offense. Cam Williams, a guy from last year, 5-star receiver who ended up committing to Notre Dame.
Yeah.
He was in question of even staying at Glenbard South, in which he did stay loyal, and it was just like throw him the ball and automatic first down.
Yeah.
As the Bulldogs are going to hand it over to Renteria this time. He's going to break a tackle and break another, and gets a gain of about 10 for a Bulldog first down.
That's a solid gain, right? You'll take those kinds of plays anytime you can get them. It's good to see Renteria get in the mix here, right? We saw him a little bit in the first half, but here he gets a pretty good carry for a Bulldogs first down. So it's good to see him getting mixed in there alongside Ratana in that backfield.
Yeah, as you know, a lot of talk on the sideline between head coach, or excuse me, offensive coordinator and James Long and Nick Rivera and Xavier Mrozek de Jesus as he is long outside wide to Giancarlo's right. I would not be surprised if a ball is intended for him, but it's not intended. Renteria is going to get it again, and he's going to get a broken tackle, but then met after about 3 yards.
Bulldogs sticking with the run game there, trying to get comfortable with that, find a lane for these guys to get in a groove. I don't mind it at all.
I don't mind this whatsoever. I don't see Jaden Karras on the field, the athletic specimen that we have, the speedster, who seems to be getting lots out of his father's workouts at Hustle Hard.
That's very true.
But they still do have our athletic core out there in Renteria, Mrozek de Jesus and Long. And they're going to look towards Mrozek de Jesus. Nothing's open. He's going to roll out wide. Garcia looking for somebody. He's got nobody, but he's going to find Long. Long's going to get the first down and break a tackle. James Long.
Check out the little finger point right there at the end of that play.
I mean, let him know who's on the ground.
Some confidence and swagger there from Mr. Number 11. How can you not love it? It's a guy we know from volleyball, you know. And it's good to see himself show himself here on the football field. And what a job by Giancarlo Garcia on that play to extend the play. We saw that in the first half in the red zone to get the ball out to Ratana for a few yards, but that's an even better play here for a Bulldogs first down. Extended the play and delivered a dart. Almost, you know, felt like what we saw from Diego Gutierrez at times last year for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, without a doubt. That's a great play to see from Garcia, as we're going to remain in the same formation as Xavier Mrozek is alone. They're going to give it off to Renteria. Renteria, not much on the gain, maybe about one. But let's talk about that last play with James Long. James Long is the one that came in for Jaden Karras. I talked about it. Jaden Karras being out, he's an athletic specimen. He's got speed, he's got agility. And James hops right in there.
Yeah.
Mr. Long finds the open area. It's a very skillful play.
It is.
For a former tight end in James Long to be able to find the open area, find the open field, and get the youngster a nice ball to give him. And it all worked out, giving him a first down.
Certainly.
And we'll see what they'll do out of the same formation. They're going to take the snap, looks out left, looking for Warren Mason, and he's going to one-hand snag that one and get a couple extra yards. Short of the first down by a couple yards. But a nice play by Mason.
I'll tell you what, man, this kid, as good as he is, he's got a bunch of swagger to his game as well. Like the one-hand grab, how can you not love his style of play? I mean, really everything about, you know, the way he, you know, plays on offense and the way he is able to be such a ball hawk on defense is so impressive on so many levels. And it's good to see him show himself on the offensive side of the ball tonight.
Yeah, I'm really not sure he knew that ball was headed his way until it was in his hand. As they're going to hand it off on third down. This risky call. There's going to be some dirty laundry on the field. A flag thrown. We'll see who is on as the game of pointing begins again.
Yes. The long awaited. We'll see what the call is.
But this one seems to be a decided flag.
Wonder if it's a hold here. Maybe even a pass interference. I couldn't tell where the flag was thrown, whether if it was in the defensive backfield or towards the line of scrimmage.
It seemed to be a face mask on the defense.
Okay. We'll take that.
And they're going to give it to him.
Any day of the week, that is a free first down, so.
Yeah, the running back, Ratana, kind of tackled down a little awkwardly.
Yeah.
You could tell he definitely came down head first towards the end of his tackle. But obviously something was wrong, and it was a good call there by the refs, and a beautiful first down play from Ratana. As Mrozek de Jesus is in motion, he's going to get the ball.
What a block.
No surprise here. He's going to beat a man out wide. He's going to cut inside, and he's going to get a good gain. Give him 8 on the play. Mrozek de Jesus.
Yeah, that was a fantastic block there on the outside, allowing Morozic to cut up into the downfield. Without that block there on that play, that's probably a negative play, all things considered. I think he gets stopped there right around the line of scrimmage, if not behind it. So what a job there on the block on the edge there, allowing Morozic to cut upfield and create a very very great gain there.
Yeah, the timeout is going to be called here. My guess is it's a Raiders timeout. They need to find something out here because nothing's clicking for their defense so far. It was a talking point in our pregame show. They've blown out every team that they've played so far.
It's incredible.
With big wins, only giving up, I don't believe they've let up more than 8 points within the conference, which is a big stat to be holding for a defense, and the Bulldogs have tested them well.
Yeah, Glenbard South, to put it into perspective, their last 3 games, they are on a 4-game win streak, but their last 3 games, they have won by at least 40 points, Liam. That is incredible. And to see really that stat alone, and now to look at the score here where the Bulldogs lead by 3, that is incredible as an act of resilience by this Bulldogs team to stand up for themselves and, really bring their A game tonight.
Yeah, and like what I just talked about, not giving up more than 8 points, and the 8 points was to West Chicago. They held Fenton to 6 and held Elmwood Park to 7. This is their biggest match, and it looks like Giancarlo Garcia makes a man jump off sides. Beautiful play by Garcia with the hard count.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell really that he has found his groove a bit on this drive specifically. It feels like Garcia has gotten more comfortable. We've seen a good blend of run plays and pass plays and even toss plays, right, that have got this offense moving down the field now inside the 20-yard line.
Yeah, it's, these flags have become very costly for Glenbard South.
Certainly.
They've had a face mask that ruined a 4th down potentially, and another ruined play there getting a man to be able to jump off sides on a 2nd and mid-range. Garcia's going to drop back, looking for his man X. Head tap! Xavier Morozic de Jesus goes up, gets it, climbs the ladder for a touchdown.
Unbelievable. No words for tonight's performance from Xavier Morozic de Jesus. Speechless is all I can say. He has been spectacular on all cylinders for the Bulldogs tonight. Without him, the Bulldogs are nowhere where they're at right now. A head top play you can see there on the sideline celebrating it. A spectacular acrobatic play from De Jesus to extend this Bulldogs lead. How about it, Liam?
Wow, and he is ecstatic, and so is this student section. I mean, what can you not love about this game from the Bulldogs? The electricity has been shown through all aspects of the game as John Bielabradek nails the extra point. Wow, what a play. I'm speechless.
I'm speechless too. I don't know what to say. I mean, we already have complimented De Jesus' game so much tonight, and he just keeps adding on to his performance. I said in the first half, really in the beginning of the second quarter, I'm excited to see his stat line by the end of this one. It's almost like he's already passed 100 yards, even just on the first few drives alone, and now you can only imagine where he's at already, and we're not even in the 4th quarter yet.
I mean, to let a guy like Xavier Morozic de Jesus get a confidence booster like that is not what you want in the game that he's having.
No, I mean, I don't know why, for whatever reason, Glenbard South keeps leaving him alone in a one-on-one matchup on the left side of the field. Glenbard South is going to have to adjust because it's not working for them by any means. They cannot get a stop on him to save their lives.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if they throw a little double coverage on the Morozic de Jesus because the man that they have on him is, I want to say, number 3, Johnny Baldoff, sorry, who hasn't been really getting the job done whatsoever in any aspects of the game, from stopping him on his jet sweeps or even stopping him in a 50-50 ball.
I can't imagine the Glenbard South sideline and the coaching staff are happy at all. This is a kid who has made so many electrifying plays for the Bulldogs offense tonight. I'm sure they're furious over there.
And the kick is off to Baldoff this time as he's breaks a tackle. It breaks another and gets met by Oscar Aguilar, fumbles the ball. Oh, and it rolls out of bounds. John Bielabradek can't get a hand or both hands onto it. A beautiful play to peanut punch the ball out from Oscar Aguirre, getting recognition from his coaches.
He's been everywhere tonight. I've said it numerous times now, but I mean, these Bulldogs are just all over the field. They have brung it tonight, and you can't give them enough credit on offense, defense, and special teams. It just feels like everything is hitting right now to the maximum ability for them.
It feels like this Bulldogs team has just clicked like a puzzle.
Yes,
I mean,
absolutely.
They've brought all the pieces together.
Yes.
The D-line has been playing how they needed to. The secondary has done their job. And most importantly, the offense has.
Yes, absolutely. And now, I mean, the defense faces a big test. They have tons of momentum. Can they keep it is the big question. They've got to lock down for another drive here. Can they do it is the question.
As he's going to look back to drop back and throw a high ball downfield, and it's caught. Number 7, Isaiah Gray Jr. in single coverage with John Biela-Bradek. It looked to be he had the inside corner on Biela-Bradek. And that's a great ball.
That is a fantastic catch there by Gray. As you see here on the replay, the ability to hold the ball through contact and high point that thing, as short of as a receiver as he is extremely impressive. I thought it was actually solid coverage from the DB. He was alongside him with every step there. It was just a better play by the offense.
Yeah, a beautiful play as we see Miss Yankee on your screen here. RB legend. The best substitute teacher you can ask for.
Absolutely.
Hoping to get this sideline bumping again. So they're going to hand it to Clark. And Clark is met at the line, but he's going to get a big push from his O-line. And he's going to get a gain of around 7.
Yeah. I mean, that's all it takes, right? With a few offensive linemen behind him, no matter the size, just the tiniest of pushes for their running back, their lead running back, who, as I've said multiple times, is a physical specimen, is all they need to get that extra push for an extra 3 or 4 yards.
Yeah, and honestly, Vontae Clark, this is where he has shined so far, is within the 30 and inside the red zone.
Certainly.
So expect the ball to remain in his hands. But I
go
am
to
wrong.
throw.
Ballman's going to look deep for his man, and it's picked off! Picked off by number 10, John Evans, looking for Baldoff, but he finds Evans instead.
The red-headed demon. The red-headed demon with the pick. Spectacular. Oh my goodness. He read it like a book, stuck through there, watched that route progress, and he jumped it just enough. Seemed almost like, yeah, I mean, unbelievable play there from Evans. That's the second big interception from this Bulldogs defense as he's hyped up on the bench, deservedly so. For this Bulldogs defense in this half alone, I mean, this third quarter could not have been any better so far for this Bulldogs team.
Yeah, they have come out firing on all cylinders,
yes,
which is what you've needed out of the second half of the Bulldogs. We actually saw in the Ridgewood game, they did the exact opposite, and they learned their lesson.
Yes.
They have taken offense to that drive that they put together, as this time the ball is handed off to Ratana again. He's going to look outside, almost another face mask grab there. He's going to get a positive gain of around 2 or 3. 3 they give him. But let's talk about John Evans, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's a great friend of mine, so I know him very, very well. He said pregame that this team likes to rely on the run, which we've seen. He saw it through film, obviously, and when they do decide to pass, he's clearly studied enough film to jump those routes and make big plays for this Bulldogs defense. Spectacular to see it from such a good dude, and really flips the switch continuously for this Bulldogs team. Hopefully they can capitalize on this drive as well.
As they give the ball again here to, or this time, Renteria, but he's not going to get the extra block he needed, and he's not going to get a gain met at the line as a man looks to be down for Glenbard South. No, he pops back up. 3rd and 7 for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, back-to-back similar run plays there for the Bulldogs. They're slowing things down a bit, catching their breath. I expect a pass play here of some sort. Maybe it's a design bootleg as we get a timeout here for the Bulldogs. But I do expect to see on 3rd and 7 here, as there is actually a Glenbard South player down on the field, maybe a cramp, but we hope he's okay. But like I said, with Garcia, I do expect to see some concept of a pass play here, hopefully down the middle of the field to help him continue to catch his groove here and, make them feel comfortable with this 10-point lead.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, a lead that can be crucial late game. They have made it a 2-possession game. It is only a field goal and a touchdown 2-possession game.
Yes.
But nonetheless, a 2-possession game, which is something that just feels great as a sophomore quarterback.
Yes.
To know that you have an extra drive in you that obviously you don't want to give up the drive.
But you can't afford it to a sense.
Yeah,
Yes.
you can afford, you know, a lesser drive.
Yeah.
But obviously the intentions here are to get the 7 yards, and I would assume with one of their playmakers, Jaden Karras or Xavier Morozic de Jesus.
Yeah, as we see Karras, both Karras and de Jesus, their two big playmakers here tonight, are on the field. Empty backfield, empty set here for Garcia. We'll see what he can do with it.
They've added Caputo out left with de Jesus, but this time de Jesus runs in. He's going to get the jet sweep. He's looking for the outside corner. Does he get it? Kind of, but not enough. They're going to get a gain, but they're going to be short of the first down.
On the run play for Xavier Morozic de Jesus.
As the punt team heads out there for the Bulldogs as they play it safe.
I don't hate the play call. Obviously, give it to the hot hand, right? De Jesus, we've talked about him so much just because of how spectacular of a night he's had. But they do really love using that end around, and we saw it there again. Obviously, couldn't capitalize on the first down, but we'll see what the Bulldogs defense can do. Hopefully, stand tall once again. Bend, don't break, right? That's the key here.
Exactly. They're going to run the clock out here. Excuse my massive stutter there. But the third quarter is going to come to an end. And wow, what a quarter it was for the Dogs.
Yeah, 10-point lead, but it feels almost like it's a 30-point lead, right? But I will say my main key going into the fourth quarter, there's still a lot of football to play, right? Many drives for both teams left to be played, and they can't get too comfortable. They can't get too cute
no doubt.
with the ball on the offense, and they can't get too comfortable on defense, you know, playing off, allowing some big chunk yard gains for the Glenbard South offense. So my advice for this Bulldogs team is just to, you know, stick and stay in attack mode, 101% out on the field, and get this job done. Go home tonight, have a great weekend, and you know, feel great about this performance tonight.
Yeah, for sure. And something you got to put into perspective here is the Bulldogs haven't done so much this year. With their 2-3 record, they need to be able to play with a lead.
Certainly.
They need to know that throwing up a 50-50 ball is not the option.
Absolutely.
It's taking the extra yards on maybe a rollout run instead and rolling the clock. And rolling the clock, we're going to roll an interview for you on the sidelines.
Appears as if we may have a bit of a pause here.
Excuse me, we're going to head into a break now rather than the interview. Yeah, and we are back after a 37-yard punt from John Bielabranek and a motion for the Glenbard South offense. No surprise here, the give is to Clark as he is met by Ren Mason and Max Strong.
He's all over it. Both, you know, two guys who have had very strong games tonight. You can't ask for much more from either of these guys. These are both, you know, captains to a very large degree for this Bulldogs defense. They're always there when, you know, they need a big play or they need a big stop. So, you know, continuously showing that they are the star players to this defense, right?
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, Ren Mason is a name that is repeated when you think about the Bulldog defense, and so is Max Strong. Those are the two guys we pointed out pregame who have had beautiful seasons. As the screen pass goes out wide to number 7, Isaiah Gray, who's been a big playmaker. He's going to get a couple of positive yards, but not enough for a first down.
Yeah, Isaiah Gray, they keep implementing him to this game. As the Bulldogs sideline is signaling the other way.
5-yard gain on the play.
Don't know what's going on there, but Isaiah Gray, right, they keep implementing him into the pass game, whether it's in the flat or...
So maybe there's a flag on the field here. We'll see what the call is. Yeah, so we're looking for a flag here. We are waiting to see what the call is. It will go for the Bulldogs. This is going to push the ball back. Holding offense. And that's a costly play there after a pretty decent gain by Isaiah Gray Jr.
Yes, on any level of football, it's very difficult to, you know, regain and bounce back from, you know, a costly flag like that for an offense, right? So it'll be interesting to see if Glenbard South, who has a dominant running game at times, can bounce back from that holding, which brought them back 5 yards.
Yeah, and we're going to step back to throw again. Looking over the middle for Gray. It's caught, but he's not going to get much there. Give him around 7 yards, leaving a 3rd and 8.
Well, I'll tell you what, Isaiah Gray continues to impress me with his ability to hold on to that ball through contact. You saw it with that deep throw over the middle of the field that connected for around 25, 30 yards for Glenbard South a quarter ago. He's been great over the middle of the field and really been the biggest part aside from their running back on offense.
Yeah, Bauman takes a snap, looks over the middle, and a little early contact.
Oof.
And there's going to be pass interference. But it's, oh, I had no idea it was even picked off. But there will be pass interference. Seems to be on the Bulldogs. Oscar Aguirre made a little bit of early contact without a doubt. Oh, wait. Yeah, pass interference on the defense. This will pull back the
holding that was put out there. So now it's really a battle of the flags here.
Yeah.
It's an unfortunate call there. I think Oscar Aguirre was, had the right idea in mind, colliding with the intended receiver there. It was just a tad bit early, resulting in a pass interference, which is disappointing. But the theme from this Bulldogs defense so far, they've only allowed 13 points to a Glenbard team who has scored so highly these past few weeks. They've bent to an extent, but they won't break. And hopefully that theme continues here on this drive.
Yeah, as Bauman's going to head back again, looking for a deep ball. He's got a man wide open, and it's going to be caught and carried into the end zone by Sean Adderholt, leaving this game a one-possession game.
Yeah, seemed to be a misread. Looked like a really blatant missed tackle around the 5-yard line by one of the Bulldogs defensive backs. Would have still been a completion, but probably would have pushed him out of bounds before he could have reached the end zone. Nonetheless, we'll see what the Bulldogs can do, and hopefully they respond well.
Yeah, again, what comes with the lead is learning how to play with this lead. Not only do the Dogs have to extend this drive, but they have to extend this drive inbounds and on the ground as much as possible.
Absolutely. I think this is a very, very big test.
Wait. There is a 2-point conversion coming in here with the backup quarterback seems to be in play, which I'm guessing would be some sort of run play. And they are going to run it right up the gut. He's going to get into the end zone. And it's going to come to a 21-23 game. There seems to be a flag on there after the play.
Very late flag. Let's see what it is. Maybe taunting of some sort. That was a very late flag. We'll see.
Some sort of unsportsmanlike conduct would be the worst case scenario for the Bulldogs because obviously this could either be assessed to the kickoff or bring back that successful 2-point conversion. And we'll see. I think they are going to call the unsportsmanlike conduct on the offense there, which will give the Bulldogs, I believe, 15 extra yards on the kickoff to work with, which is very helpful.
Certainly. Well, after they gave up the touchdown, it's now a 2-point game, so the Bulldogs, at least needing a field goal here would be great, but they can't get ahead of themselves, right? They're still playing with a lead. It was just 10, now it's 2, so they have to be very careful. But as I was saying earlier, this is a very, very big moment for Giancarlo Garcia. Can he lead this Bulldogs offense on a long drive, a very big drive, that could either make or break this game potentially?
Yeah, for sure. This is a moment in which Garcia has yet to be in, which this is a great test for the youngster, the sophomore, a man who has never been in such a tight game, in such a tight spot late in the game.
Against such a great team, too. So this is huge on every front, right? And, not to mention it's senior night, so there's so much at stake here, which is just as exciting as an announcer up here in the booth. It's been a very fun game so far, and I'm super, super excited to see how Garcia, the quarterback who we all have faith in, can handle this situation.
Yeah, as the Dogs seems to be a little clueless on why the kickoff was pushed so far back because of the unsportsmanlike from Glenbard South. They'll be kicking from the 25-yard line of their own, which is amazing. If you're a Bulldog right now, because Jaden Karras and Xavier Mosick de Jesus have both been massive assets in the receiving game.
Certainly both lethal threats. We'll see what they can do here. I'm interested to see if this is a full kickoff.
Or maybe a little squib kick to avoid. No, they will do a full kickoff, and it will go right to Karras.
Come on.
Karras looking for a hole. Will he get one? No.
Nonetheless, they are starting past their 30, right? So either way, this is solid starting field position off of a kickoff. The unsportsmanlike helped them certainly there.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, that brings that kick return from possibly the 15-yard line up until the 32 of Glenbard South.
The Bulldogs will have,
as we are going to make our way into another break in this fourth quarter. We'll catch you after. And we're back from our break, as what you missed was a incomplete rollout pass from Giancarlo Garcia with what looked to be a missed call downfield on Jaden Karras. But nonetheless, the ball was not thrown to Karras, so no attention was drawn. We'll see what the Bulldogs draw up here, up 2.
We talked about the overthrows pregame with Giancarlo Garcia. There was one there. I liked that design. It schemed a guy open in the flat, allowing for a potential first down had he gotten there, but the overthrow costs him there. We'll see what they can do on 2nd and 10.
Garcia's going to drop back. He's going to look for his man Karras, and he has him. Karras with the move. Karras moving down the sideline. One man to beat, and he's dragged down at the 19-yard line, but he stays down. Hopefully not hurt as he makes his way back up. But what a play from Jaden Karras.
The transfer from Fenwick is a blessing to this Bulldogs offense. That was the move of the game. If you saw that little juke move along the sideline, along the 40-yard line, that was a move that was absolutely wonderful, allowing him to break free for an extra game of around 40. How about it, Liam?
I mean, the transfer from Fenwick transferred that man's ankles into the next game as Garcia moves Ratana out to his left and Ren Mason over to his right. The handoff is to Ratana. No holes found, so Ratana's just going to push off his back leg for no gain.
Well, they are certainly giving Ratana a fair share of carries tonight, which is good to see. He hasn't done a lot with them. You haven't really seen a double-digit carry where he's taken it into the second level, which is unfortunate, but it also takes, like we said pregame, the offensive line to create those holes to allow him to reach that second level.
Yeah, for sure. We will see what the Bulldogs have drawn up with 18 on the play clock. Garcia moves Ratana out right this time, and Rivera is the man in motion. He's going to fake the give to Ratana, look for someone downfield. He has a man, and it's caught. Who is it? Seems to be number 5, Ren Mason, but behind the play, Garcia's down.
Yeah, that's a fantastic catch from Ren Mason, who has come up so big tonight. We almost felt like it almost felt like we knew that he was going to be this big of a factor on every side of the ball before this game had even started. That's a huge gain to move this Bulldogs defense inside the 10-yard line. Let's hope they can put this one into the end zone to extend their lead this late into the fourth quarter.
Yeah, Garcia seems to be battling through something right now. Obviously trying to show no weakness to the opponent defense in Glenbard South. He's going to give the ball off to Ratana. Ratana looking for a hole. Kind of finds one, but gets met from behind by Glenbard South, but a gain of 1.
We'll take it, right? We are inside the 10. So I think here, if you're the Bulldogs, you got to take time in between each and every one of these plays, right? You have some time to catch your breath. I don't know what happened to Garcia on that rollout play where he connected with Mason for around the 20-yard strike, but nonetheless, it was a great play by Garcia. I really think he has developed as a passer tonight. It's been awesome to see. We'll see if they can punch it in here.
Yeah, we'll see what the play call is. Maybe they'll try to run it up the gut, gain an extra blocker with Rivera in motion. They are going to give it to Ratana, and to no avail. Ratana seems to have no gain for the second time in a row.
It's now a big, massive third down here for the Bulldogs. I expect a passing attempt here. That's what I hope to see. I think Garcia has taken the right steps. Maybe a few games ago, Liam, you look at the same situation and you don't put that trust into Garcia to make, a throw here, maybe in the corner of the end zone, whether it's a one-on-one slot fade or something like that, to put that ball up there for a 50-50 play. But maybe there's a different belief here tonight in Bulldog Stadium in Giancarlo Garcia with the game he's had.
Yeah, we'll see here that Xavier Morales de Jesus is not alone on his side, but now he is with Ren Mason in motion. He's going to roll out to Mason's side. Doesn't want to get pulled down. He doesn't. Looks to the back of the end zone, and it's caught. Jaden Karras, touchdown, Bulldogs. The man who broke this drive alive ends it in the end zone.
It's been the best bro show tonight from Xavier Morozic de Jesus and Jaden Karras, both super tight friends. And the chemistry between them and all the guys on the football field tonight has shown to the biggest extremity. I mean, what a drive for Jaden Karras, who came up limping on that play after he gained around 50, 55 yards in the play that started it all inside the red zone here for the Bulldogs. But nonetheless, he gets the touchdown, capitalizes on this drive for the Bulldogs, and it seems as if they're going for 2.
They will go for 2 here, obviously. Maybe the smart move because, oh.
Man downfield for the Bulldogs. That'll be a 5-yard play, 5-yard penalty, replay.
Wow. The touchdown is called back due to an illegal man downfield. That's a big heartbreaker for the Bulldogs as Garcia's going to roll out right. Oh, has Morozic de Jesus wide open, but misses. Wow, that flips the script.
Yeah, football is a game that can change in an instant. Everything can flip with the snap of a finger, and unfortunately, you see a prime example. You know, the biggest thing you have to hope here is that Giancarlo Garcia doesn't get in his head. He just had a fantastic play to extend the play there and get the ball to Karras. Unfortunately, we didn't even notice till the flag, after the flag was thrown, that it did get called back, but they will settle for a field goal here, one that needs to be put in by Bilo Bredick.
The snap seems good, the hold is good, and the kick sneaks in there on the left side. And it makes it a 26-21 game for the Bulldogs.
Well, I think it's safe to say that the biggest drive of the game for the Bulldogs defense is coming up. There's just under 7 minutes to play, according to our clock here on the broadcast for this game. They're going to have to, get this Glenbard squad off the field quick, right? I think, to apply the pressure, maybe scheme some blitzes up. Yeah. We haven't really seen, I don't think we've seen a single sack tonight on Bauman. But I do expect them to use their running back heavily on this drive. He's allowed them to open up the field on many different drives here tonight for their offense, and you just got to hope that they still have that energy to contain the run and hopefully get to the passer here once or twice to stall a drive here.
Yeah, obviously with a 5-point game due to the forced 2-point conversion, the Bulldogs need to hold them outside of a touchdown.
Absolutely.
They can take a field goal, but I would seriously doubt a field goal attempt from the Raiders.
Ideally, you get this Glenbard South offense and this Bulldogs defense off the field with 0 points scored, and you keep this 5-point lead after this Glenbard South drive. But now it's only up for us to see and commentate over it. Let's see what happens here.
We'll see what Bilo Bredick can pull out of his bag. The kick is off, and lots of spin on this one as it's caught by Blodman. Sorry. And he's
around
not
the 30.
Given much. Ends up around the 30.
All right, massive drive here. Cross your fingers, Bulldogs fans. This is a very, very big drive. Obviously, Ren Mason, Max Strong, Caleb McCautry, these are all guys who can step up in these positions. John Evans as well, who has a huge interception under his belt tonight. So it's going to be up to one of these guys, or maybe even an Oscar Aguirre, who we've seen pop up multiple times on the broadcast tonight as well with some big tackles, to make a big play and shift the momentum back in the Bulldogs' favor.
Yeah, something that we also want to see outside of the secondary is something from the D-line. They've been able to hold Vontae Clark, which I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders do take their time getting down the field, if they have confidence in their offense, which they do. Give the handoff to Clark. Clark gets the outside, but he's met. Oscar Aguirre sends his own coach down in the process of taking down Clark. Coach pops back up, and so does Clark. But the difference is Clark is 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage.
Wow, an interesting play there. Hope everything is okay on the sidelines. I think coach is too locked in to realize what just happened to him. But, I think that's a huge play, right? Those are the kinds of plays you need from this D-line. We just talked about it, right? To force their explosive runner out of bounds early and behind the line of scrimmage and get this thing in the Bulldogs' favor here.
Yeah. Vontae Clark has a little miscommunication with his quarterback, Eric Servant, showing blitz, as he will apply a blitz. as Bauman's going to look downfield, overthrown. Looking for Isaiah Gray Jr., their playmaker of the game, but outside Avante Clark. And this brings up a 3rd and 12.
Yeah, no matter what anybody says on the field, no matter what the players say, nerves are a real thing. We talked about it with Giancarlo Garcia. You know, it's a big drive for him last drive. Didn't capitalize on the touchdown due to a penalty, calling it back. They settled for a field goal. But you see it here with Bauman, right? I mean, you can see that the nerves came into play. That was a bit of an easy throw for him to hit along the sideline. He was open, had about 5 to 10 yards of space in between with the nearest defender. So he needed to hit that, and he missed the mark by a pretty wide margin.
Yeah, it's definitely not something you want to see from your quarterback late game who's had a successful year in himself. As he's going to step back, Bauman.
That looks to be a false start.
A false start on the offense. We'll see the call. False start on the Raiders. That is a costly penalty to be a Raider for.
Like we've said, there's been a ton of dirty laundry on the field tonight, but this has been, I mean, this is the worst one for Glenbard South. They couldn't afford this at all. It'll be interesting to see if they can retaliate here, but I don't know. I mean, it's a tough situation to come back from if you're Glenbard or any team.
Yeah, Bauman's going to step back, expecting a deep ball. He can't find one. He's going to try to use his legs, but he's going to look for Gray. It's caught, but he's met after a gain of about 12. But again, with the 17 yards needed, it's not enough. And they still are left with 5 yards to gain.
That's how big the false start was, right? They pushed him back. That's probably an easy first down. Had that 5 yards not been pushed back on Glenbard South, excuse me, but I mean, Isaiah Gray's hands got to be checked to see if his gloves have super glue on them. It feels like he hasn't dropped a thing tonight.
Nothing's getting through those so far.
No.
And it has played a key in this game, as now Bauman back to the line of scrimmage on 4th and 6. Takes the snap, rolls out right, looking for one of his men. Has one, picked up, broken up, excuse me. Number 24, Luke Ferguson, have yourself a game.
Have yourself a game. Big 2-4. An incredible play. Way to get his hand in there on that ball. That was likely a first down there, intended for the big man. I believe that was the tight end there on Glenbard South's offense. Play of the game, right? I mean, that is the momentum shifter. Shifts the tide back in the Bulldogs' favor. Hopefully, even though there's 6 minutes left, maybe they can drain as much clock as possible and make this all but a win until that clock expires, man.
I mean, I almost yelled picked off because I was so
excited, right?
I had me jumping out of my seat.
Absolutely.
Luke Ferguson, the man who got the Bulldogs to get their first touchdown with the big pick at the start of the second half, is the man who breaks up the biggest play in the 4th quarter so far. As the Bulldogs move their receiver, Ren Mason, in motion as they give it to Ratana on the outside. Ratana, most importantly, stays in bounds, keeps the clock moving, but only gets a gain of around 1.
The Bulldogs offense has to be careful here, right? And I think the coaching staff knows that. I think Garcia knows that. I think everybody involved here knows that. They cannot make any costly errors. Putting the ball up, let's say in a double coverage, right? Taking care of the ball on any sort of run play. They have to be extra careful, with ball security and where Garcia decides to throw.
Yeah, Garcia needs to know that in this late game that he's in, that everything needs to be a sure thought. You can't throw up a 50-50 ball like he has to Morozic de Jesus, as they're going to give this to Ratana. Ratana gets a little bit of a gain. Give him 2, leaving a 3rd and 7.
Yep. I mean, Garcia, we'll see how he handles this situation. I've been fascinated by the way the Bulldogs have handled every situation tonight. Nothing has come easy for them, I don't think, and they've really battled on every front, I think, with the power of Xavier Morozic de Jesus, right, and his almost, I'm sure when we look back on it, almost close to 200-yard performance. I mean, he's been ridiculous. And then Karras on top of that. We'll see if they can get either of them involved here on this big 3rd down.
We'll see what the play call is. Garcia takes a snap. He's going to fake the handoff to Ratana. He's going to keep rolling out. Looks for a man downfield. It's Karras. And he's pushed out of bounds.
There is a flag. There's a flag. We'll see what the call is.
A flag somewhat in the back is maybe an illegal man downfield.
The Bulldogs offense is staying on for now.
Ineligible receiver downfield.
Which this
replay
is important. I would assume that it's a rejected penalty because this will force the Bulldogs a 4th down. It's rejected indeed. It's 4th and 8. Do the Bulldogs attempt a field goal? Does John Bilobradic have the range as they send out a punt team?
Yeah, I mean, that is a very, very long field goal for not only just Bilobradic, but any high school kicker. That's tough, and it is a bit windy out there right now, so the conditions always play a factor into it. So now it's up to the punt team, and Bilobradic still to pin this one, hopefully inside the 10, maybe even inside the 5. We'll see where he can put it here.
Yeah, electing to not have a man in the back to receive this. They're going to choose to max protect on the punt. Obviously, no need for a gunner without men downfield. He's going to look, take some time off. Oh, and just a little too much as it lands the 1 and goes into the end zone. Did draw some time off the clock. It will leave Glenbard South a little bit farther than they'd like to be at their own 20-yard line.
I mean, we keep saying it. This entire 4th quarter has been a test for Bulldogs on offense and defense and even special teams, right? I mean, this is the biggest 4th quarter of the entire year for the Bulldogs. So every drive, both on offense and defense, again, is a test. We'll see what the Bulldogs can do here. I'll say it again, bend but don't break.
Exactly. The saying of the second half, bend but don't break, is the most important thing for the Bulldogs. We'll see the approach from the Raiders as an under center snap looks to be given to Bauman. Expect that handoff to Vontae Clark. It's given, and he's not going nowhere. Or from what it looked like, as the pile keeps pushing.
Yep.
He's going to get a gain, maybe give him 1 on the play.
2-yard gain on the play for
as the clock is going to run.
Yeah, they definitely have to watch that approaching just under 4 minutes here. Like I said earlier in the game, that push from the offensive line, it only takes a guy or two with how big Vontae Clark is. You know, it really doesn't take much at all to get an extra push for 2 or 3 yards, but we'll see if they continue to use him here on this drive.
Snap is taken, the pitch to Vontae Clark. Vontae Clark met behind the line. Mr. Max Strong.
Oh my goodness. Talk about a heck of a play from number 13. He was on Chef's Choice. I think he's the dessert for tonight, Liam. I think he's the dessert.
Is he the cherry on top or what?
I think he might be. I mean, just an awesome play there. The biggest play so far from the defense, I think, this 4th quarter. Yeah, it seemed as if on the end of the play that their running back was a bit shaken up. It took him a minute to get up off the field. So we'll see if that plays in a factor here.
He's showing a little injury on his left wrist. He's not really moving it. He's in there to block. Throw. Bauman's going to look back to throw. Finds a receiver. It's 14. Sean Adderholt. And he's tackled right as he catches the ball. Espinoza with a beautiful play right where his home is in the linebacker core. The Raiders need 6 on this 4th down as they're going to use their timeout.
Sure, they completed the ball, but they were still all over it, right? I mean, you said it best. As soon as that ball was caught, they tackled him immediately, and, you know, it left them with only a gain of around 4. So the Bulldogs still in a manageable position here to get their defense off the field on a good note.
Yeah, something I want to talk about. I believe the second down call was quite the questionable call for the pitch to Vontae Clark.
Yes.
Obviously, let alone you're fighting the clock. You know, there was 3 minutes, around 3 minute mark. It was around the 3 minute mark where they called the play, and let alone the play that they called was a pitch, and the pitch hasn't worked yet today.
It hasn't, and it hasn't, you know, it hasn't really worked for either team, but especially in that position, if you're Glenbard South, you have the running back of that caliber, right? I don't think that's the best way to use him at all.
Yeah.
If you're Glenbard South, I think running it up the gut with how big he is and his vertical stability, being able to stand up through contact, I think that's the best way to get yards out of him, to get the biggest yards out of him, and they didn't do that there. It was a very interesting play call. It's a good call out by you.
Yeah, I mean, Vontae Clark is more of, you know, obviously this sounds like we're hyping him up. He's more of a Derrick Henry type running back. He's not like an Austin Eckler or a Dalvin Cook.
Right.
Obviously those two in their prime, elusive backs.
Certainly.
Who can make a little jab move and cut up field. But we'll see what they do here with Bauman.
4th down.
Clark on his right. Bauman rolls out right, looking for his prime receiver, and it's cut off, broken up. That's number 10, Mr. John Evans.
Evans Island, whip out the red flag. Don't test the waters. Don't even dip your feet. What a play from number 10.
Oh my gosh, it's shark-infested waters.
Shark-infested waters. Put the fins up, baby. What a play.
A play by John Evans. Read it like a book, a children's book.
A children's book.
He saw that roll out. He saw the cut from number 3, Johnny Baldoff, and he knew the play, cuts it off. He knows there's no need for the pick, swats it to the ground.
I complimented pregame on how good of a ball hawk Warren Mason is. How about John Evans tonight? That's the second or third time where he's interrupted a pass that could be a potentially big play. One was an interception, and now the biggest pass breakup of the game. Just great job by him.
Yeah, and expect a run from Ratana here. Ooh, and a called timeout from Garcia as they are not able to get the playoff in time. Obviously, probably a lot of celebration going on while John Evans is running to the sideline after his big play. And wow, who knew Bulldogs could swim? Don't test the water. John Evans.
Yeah, well, I mean, look, there's still 2.5 minutes left of this game, and the game isn't over, right? You can't treat it as that, and they still have a job to finish, so they can't get cute, like I said earlier, with around 8-9 minutes left. They have to play smart football the way that they have really the entire game. I think they've played a very complete game on all cylinders so far, so they just have to stick with their game plan. Don't do anything stupid, and they should walk away with a win, all things considered here.
Yeah, the Raiders do notably have 2 timeouts left, if I am reading that right, unless it's 2 timeouts used, but I believe it's 2 timeouts left. And that could play a key part in bringing this Bulldog offense down. And, you know, it's just timeouts will stop the clock and delay the big plays from the Bulldogs.
Absolutely.
Ratana moves out wide, and we're going to move down side of the field to our field side interview. And a little bit of technical difficulties there, but not a little technical difficulty from Rosic de Jesus as he smartly stays in bounds, as the Bulldogs will most definitely wisely run this clock down to the 2-minute warning. As yet no Bulldog player has any intentions on moving. Questionable that they're, no 2-minute warning here.
High school football is certainly interesting with the rules.
We have been confused quite the amount of times today as Ratana uses 2 of his blocks to try to get out wide after finally being brought down.
Timeout.
As a timeout is now called from the Raiders.
Timeout for the Raiders.
Well, I'll say this. You know, obviously they're 2-3, right? The Bulldogs, they need a win here, and the job is not done yet. But if you aren't sold on Coach Styler so far through these first 5 games, this performance should do just that for you. I think the way he's gravitated his team towards battling and winning this football game, taking nothing that, you know, Glenbard South is, you know, or taking everything, that Glenbard South is giving them on offense and defense has been nothing short of spectacular. And you have to give credit to the guys on the field, but also the coaching staff as well for putting together a phenomenal coaching performance so far. But they do have to finish.
I mean, we talked about it pre-game. We were a little confused on the play calling within the last game against Fenton, which resulted in a loss.
Yes.
And, you know, something that can always be put to blame is the wrong and right play calls. But today, it seems like they've been on the money.
Yeah. Huge play here, 3rd and 5.
3rd and 5, empty
backfield. Would love to convert.
Yeah, empty backfield for Garcia. He's going to pull Karras in motion. Karras going to wrap around Garcia. He's going to fake, give it to him. Designed run, stays in bounds, tackled up high.
They're going to
call the flag. Is it going to be on the Bulldogs for unsportsmanlike, or is it going to be on some horse collar tackle?
There is a Glenbard South player down, but I do think with the way Garcia was brought down, I'd expect this to be on the Glenbard South Raiders
Defense,
here.
Yeah. As obviously a man down, something you never want to see late game.
That cost them a timeout?
I don't think so. This, obviously, hate to say it, but if he's not hurt, he could be trying to stop the clock. but we'll
You
see.
never want to assume, but
Obviously
you know.
don't want to assume, but it would kind of be a smart play.
You
Seems
see it
like
a lot in college football, right?
no flag. The flag is taken off of the
Okay.
play. Second time tonight that has happened.
So we'll see where they spot it.
3-yard gain.
3-yard gain.
Play for the Bulldogs.
As it is,
Won't be enough.
That'll leave the
yeah,
Bulldogs
not
with a 4th
enough
and 2.
for the first down. Obviously, big decision to be made here.
Mm-hmm.
Do they attempt a field goal in which they make it? It makes it a 2-drive game,
Yes.
2-possession game, or do they trust the offense enough to get the 2 yards on this big play?
It'll be interesting. I think Bilo Bredick definitely has the leg for this one. He came up limping on a play towards the end of the first half, I believe. But he has had time to recover from that on the sideline, and he has been out there for a few punts since then. So
Yeah.
I do think that his leg is probably okay by now, at least okay enough to attempt this field goal. But we will see what the coaches decide to do and put out here on the field for this 4th down.
Yeah, I'm wondering if there's going to be a clock runoff here for the late injury, which it's not seeming like there will be.
Coach Styler's trying to communicate with the refs here, get this figured out. And
there's lots of miscommunications going on here. The Bulldog offense is still on the field.
Well, that clock is running on the scoreboard there, so
there seems to be a runoff or just a smart play. I would bet your bottom dollar that they run this down
and
call a timeout. As it seems like they have no intention of calling the play. The Dogs have yet to enter, or excuse me, break the huddle.
Yes. And there he goes. Styler signals the timeout, so they run it down to a minute here. Assuming that they bring out Bilo Bredick for the field goal and he hits it, it is now an 8-point game. So if they do score a touchdown, right, they're going to need a 2-point conversion to tie it up, or else it's a 2-score game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I guess my math was a little bit wrong there.
All good. I'm here to back you up, buddy.
Yeah, maybe not be the brains of the crew so far, but I know my football. But someone who needs to know their football at the moment is head coach Sam Styler.
Certainly.
What's the decision? Do I see Bilo Bredick in the huddle? I'm not seeing him on the sideline. Yes, I do, actually.
Number 88 there. He's still standing along the white while the other guys are in the huddle. So Garcia and the Bulldogs are trotting out here. It's a 4th and 2, so it is somewhat manageable, but definitely an interesting play call here. Could be make or break, but we've seen the Bulldogs defense stand tall before. So,
yeah, the sideline seems to be looking for Jacob Bertana as he finally gets up. It's kind of chased out of the field by the coach.
Has to be
probably not a good sight. As with no surprise, Glenbard South seems to be bringing some pressure right here. We'll see what the play call is.
Could be a QB sneak, which it is.
It will be. Oh.
It's going to be awfully close.
That's going to be close.
Glenbard South signaling that they got the stop. But, of course, the pointing battle begins, as it has all night. This likely being the most important. Kara signals yes. DeJesus signals
and
yes.
Now the man in the stripes, the zebra.
It is haven't signaled yet.
What's the call?
They may bring out the marker here.
I mean, are they going to bring out the chains?
It is a stop.
They give it to Glenbard South.
All right, well, I've said this feels like 10 times already, but this is the absolute biggest drive for the defense here.
Yes.
They've made countless spectacular plays to bring Glenbard South's drives to the end all quarter, but they need to do it one more time to cap this one off with a dub. Can they do it? That is the question that remains, and hopefully they can answer positively.
Yeah. Glenbard South, the offense is heading out. Obviously, expect the ball to be thrown. Expect the ball to be in the air. A lot can happen here in such little time.
Certainly.
One timeout on the clock. The out of bounds will obviously stop the clock too. As Bauman takes a snap with a quick pass out wide to a man. And he's tackled. Oh no, he breaks a tackle. Ooh. That's number 3, Johnny Baldoff. Time will keep running, but
there's
no,
a timeout.
Seems they will use their timeout right off the bat.
So with that spin out of the tackle there, it looked like he gained an extra 4 or 5 yards.
Oh, no timeout called. Oh my goodness. Lots of miscommunication going on right now. Wow, that's a questionable play here.
Got them positive yards.
The clock was stopped after the first down, which sparked a lot of confusion within the crowd as well. And then even confusion between the secondary as it left a man open, Sean Ederholt.
Well, the Bulldogs defense has to get settled here, right? They don't have much time. It looks like the sideline is in a bit of panic. And a few of the guys are looking towards the sideline, but they have to stay locked in here and get a few more stops, and this game is all over.
Yeah. Stepping back is Bauman. He's got a man open down through the middle, and
Big
he's
hit
met by Max
Oh my
Strong.
goodness.
He will get the first, and the clock will stop at the moment.
73 is down. He's holding his leg, but what a tackle. It was almost Luke Kuechly-esque from Max Strong.
Wow. I mean, that's a path you don't want to cross right there.
Absolutely do not step on the tracks when the train is coming. That's Max Strong for you, folks.
I mean, he's got the cowboy collar on.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Max Strong Rodeo.
That's how you know.
And the man is down for Glenbard South. Honestly, I'm getting really confused on the timing of this because there's 28 seconds left. Obviously, the clock stops for the time or for the injury, but will they be forced a timeout is the question.
Well, under half a minute left in this fourth quarter, right? So what do you think they can get? I mean, they're out of timeouts, or is that still undecided due to the injury?
It's very undecided here.
Okay. Well, I mean,
looks to be a very short cramp break.
Yeah.
Obviously, he does have to leave the field. That's 73, Christian Hill. Obviously, best wishes to you, Christian. Walking to the sideline, which seems to be very little pain, walking by himself.
Yeah, well, we've seen this a million times before in football, but obviously hope he's okay if something is seriously wrong. But now you can hear it from up in the booth, all this communication across from the sideline to the field. They got to figure things out here with under half a minute left. Just a few more plays, and this game's over. What can they do?
Steps back, has a man open, but he misses. The man open was Sean Ederholt, but it looks like he tried forcing a ball to Isaiah Gray, who has been quite the ball magnet.
Yeah, I mean, that looked like it could have been so much worse for Bauman and the Glenbard team there. That almost looked like it could have been a pick almost. I don't know who the intended receiver was, but it looked like it was over the middle of the field. It was nowhere near the intended receiver, I can tell you that much, and hit the lower level of the secondary towards the safety unit.
Yeah, and here comes Bauman. Bauman will take the snap. Another quick pass outright. He's got his guy, Johnny Blodoff. Blodoff, he's met behind the line, but he is dragged out of bounds. Clock will stop after taking 6 off of it. It is 3rd and 10 for the Raiders.
Those screen plays are so boom or bust for both offenses, and that could have been, you know, what it was, which ended up being a 1 or 2 yard gain pushed out of bounds, or taking one to the house, right? So you have to make that wrap-up tackle, and even though he did get pushed out of bounds, that's a great job by the defensive back who made that tackle on that play to get him wrapped up, and he got nothing more than 2 or 3 yards on that play.
Yeah, because not only, I mean, obviously that does stop the clock, but that does force a 3rd and 11.
Yes.
So this could, you know, obviously leave them with only 2 plays. Are they going to run some? No, they won't hand it to him. They're going to look for a deep ball.
Whoa, no.
Ederholt catches it as he's dragged down around the 29-yard line. Clock runs. Timeout finally called with 5 seconds left.
Result of the play is a 1st down for the Raiders.
Yeah, that's a huge play
Oh,
for
wow,
the Raiders.
wow. I'm not sure why the clock has actually stopped.
So much confusion the past minute or so on the field. Just chaos, but the Bulldogs, amidst it all,
wow,
seemingly one more play.
Yeah, seemingly the last play of the game. Back against the wall. What can Tommy Bauman pull out of his bag?
If you're watching at home, folks, or if you're just joining, it's an absolute thriller here at Riverside Stadium, where the Bulldogs attempt to finish this one off in what would be a spectacular victory against a very, very talented Glenbard South team. But back down to the field here.
So we are under center. Oh, he's going to seem to spike the ball. Okay, this is a smart play. They got a man by him with, wow, clock shows questionable timing. 0.9, or is it 9 seconds? Ball is spiked. Yeah, it seems to be 0.9.
Well, things need to be figured out up there in the booth where they're running that clock, because not only is it confusing us, but it's confusing literally everybody here right now. So, you know, whether it's the guys on the field, the coaching staff, or the guys on the sideline, it's pure chaos, right? You can see it.
Yeah.
But amidst it all, they do have to get this stop. 1 or 2 more plays left. I'm assuming only one.
I
here for the
think this
Raiders.
is a 0.7 seconds left on the clock.
I don't know how they ran that and figured that out, but as we see now,
officials timeout here.
Yeah, they got to figure this one out. They can't have a game end like this so controversially. So they got to clean this up before anything progresses. You can see all the Bulldogs down on the sideline, locking arms, knowing how big of a moment this is for their team. This would be the biggest victory of the year so far. And even in retrospect, you can look now through the rest of their season and
my
positively
guess
say,
is the ball goes to a man downfield, and of course it does. It's cut off by John Evans. John Evans seals what looks to be sealed the game. Time on the clock, actually.
That'll bring up 3rd down for the Raiders.
Wow, John Evans with a phenomenal play. So it was 7 seconds on the clock, and now there is 1 second. The for sure last play of the game will get tossed up to a given receiver.
Fantastic defense. It was a 50-50 ball, and the Bulldogs did all they needed to do to bat that one down, but it's one more play. Everybody's on their feet. It's electric. You can hear the cowbells cowbelling down there in the stands. They got to get this stop, and it's over.
Yeah, we'll see. And there seems to be a false start on the offense.
Could that be game?
It won't be game because it is a pre-snap flag.
Okay.
False start called on the offense makes this throw just a little bit longer by 5 yards.
Doesn't help him by any means. So everything's going right so far this drive, excluding that big play over the middle to get Glenbard South around to where they are right now. But the past 20 seconds, the Bulldogs have handled this amidst the chaos again well. They got to get this stop here to win it.
Yeah. Bauman steps back. Bauman rolls out. Bauman looks downfield. It's broken up. Game over by who else? Xavier Morozic de Jesus.
Unreal. What a finish. What a way to cap it off. A fantastic win for the Bulldogs. Paws up, fandom. How about it for the Bulldogs? An electric win.
And
it's
Dogs
over.
Get the win. Dirty laundry on the field. And so are the Dogs. Who let the dogs out? Glenbard South did.
Fantastic. You got to put a muzzle on these boys to get them to stop. It's incredible what these Bulldogs are capable
The
of.
leash won't work. The dogs are loose. Xavier Morozic de Jesus. How many times do we got to say it? Have yourself a game. Wow. An electric win from the Dogs. Now, Aiden, we came into this game hyping up Glenbard South as the hardest team that will play this year. And without a doubt, I believe they were the hardest team that we played this year.
Certainly. This wasn't an easy win by any means, right? And they showed that. Their talent, especially with their running back that we talked about so much, big number 35, right? It was hard to contain him at times. But, yeah, Vontae Clark, of course, the name that I can't forget. But, I mean, it showed so many times that he's hard to contain, but they battled till the very end, till the clock hit 0, and it resulted in a win that they're going to be proud of for months.
And wow, what a game it was. RBTV's game of the week.
Game of the year.
For a reason. And possibly the game of the year for the Dogs.
Come on, man.
I have been Liam Cohane alongside the beautiful Aiden Sheff.
Pleasure.
And it has been a pleasure announcing this game on RBTV's game of the week. Have a great night, folks.